we'll do the live thing first. Like. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bigmark podcast. This is me, your host, Bigmark. This is one of our first kind of impromptu podcasts, but had the boys over chilling, and we thought, hey, might as well record our sweet conversation. If it's your first time listening, welcome to the podcast. Please like and subscribe and do all that fun stuff. You can support the podcast at our Patreon, patreon.com/thebigmarkpod. Check us out on Twitter and Instagram at the Bigmark Pod. DM us, anything, all that shit. Let us know if you want to hear anything, any topics, any comments, and then rate the podcast if you have a chance. And like we always say, if you ask one friend, we'll double the podcast overnight. So,
you killed that intro,
show,
man.
Yes, yeah, it's the first time I ever did it. No. Almost 50 boys. Nuts. So for everyone listening, if you haven't heard, we got Christian Aubin, we got Jack Williams behind the camera doing on the ones and twos.
The OG crew, man.
The OG crew. Literally, truly. We were just saying that these boys were on the very first episode. So. Yes, sir. We got Christian in front and we got Jack in the back. So if you hear a disembodied voice, it's coming from Jack Williams.
Hello.
Business in the front part, in the back.
He's gonna be pulling shit up. I guess this is the front because we're in front of the camera.
Yeah, you got. Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm front right.
Yeah, you're front right.
Out of frame.
You're my front.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're back in the studio, and we were just talking James Bond because No Time to Die just came out, right? And Jack went to see it in theaters.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, good film.
Tell us about it, man.
Long as fuck.
A little bit.
Just short of 3 hours.
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah, it's like 2:43, 2:45.
Nice.
Yeah.
No spoilers. We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Mark.
Good one. Again, Daniel Craig again. So like continuing his series, but I didn't like the ending. Won't say what it is, of course. No spoilers. But didn't love the ending.
Okay.
Sick film though. Shot really cool. They had a couple like classic lines, classic like Bond humor intertwined throughout it.
Nice.
There's
who was the Bond lady? Anna de Armas. How do you say her name?
Pull up the cast. Yeah, I'm shit with the who's who. Let's pull up the cast quick. Yeah.
Usually they have it right there. Yeah, there.
Leah Seduk.
She's in it. Mm-hmm. And then Anna de Armas, that chick right there.
Yeah, she's
not in it much.
She's in it. But
have you
seen? Not Bond chick. She's just a chick.
Oh, okay.
She's a badass.
Cool.
Yeah. She does some shit.
But Leah's
like some shit. She has a sick scene.
Cool. So Leah's like the love interest.
Yeah, they're like
Leia,
banging from the beginning. And then
unreal.
Yeah,
like
all
first scene.
Through. Yeah, literally.
Beauty. Yeah. God bless Daniel Craig. The guy's living an absolute life.
He's chilling.
Like, how old is the kid now?
This guy's like a gray
sick.
fox.
I don't know.
Click on
probably
that bad boy.
Easily a good 60.
Right.
Mid-50s.
He's got it. You think he's that old? Click on him there.
53.
See how old he is.
He's
53.
Bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
53.
That's
not bad.
Steep.
That's pretty old because we were just kind of talking like these boys are a little bit younger than me. The guys are the same age as my sister. So you guys are 97s.
24.
So 6 years difference. And I was just kind of saying because my age group kind of thing growing up, like I was kind of on the younger side of things, but our James Bond was Pierce Brosnan. And I don't know how old he was because we were just saying Daniel Craig has been the longest running Bond so far, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has been.
Mm-hmm. So he's done it for how many years now?
Like at least 10.
Has to be.
When did Casino Royale come out?
Yeah, good question.
Time. It's crazy. It's already been a decade.
Oh wow! What? Casino Royale came out in 2006.
Really? Is that?
Holy
It's
fuck.
not. I don't know why it's not refreshing.
It's just because like tabs, but I can put it on here.
It's the tabs. True.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, you can only
once
cast
you like
tab
jump
at a time.
tab. It's,
true. Yeah. Okay. Cool. We're just casting. Sorry for everyone
figuring it out.
Watching or listening. We got Jack pulling shit up like Jamie.
He's being fast as hell with it.
So we're just looking at it. But yeah, Casino Royale came in 2006.
4-4.
True.
He's the Jamie V2. He's like an upgraded version of Jamie.
My first year of high school.
Yeah.
So
much of a puss.
So that was huge, but that was sick. So he's done it for
for time.
For 14 years kind of thing.
He's a trooper, man. OG. He can be considered.
I mean, you can see it if you can compare Casino Royale.
Yeah.
And this one.
Yeah.
Like, just in appearance, not in like fucking badass like moves in that.
Right.
Still driving the whip quite
Do you
well.
think they're going to keep the older look with the Bond, like kind of what we're talking about, or do you think they're going to move to something younger, trying to try something fresh?
It's a good question
Because I know it's been he is getting up there,
and I know it's been on the table, like potentially, like they might go with like a woman even or a black dude like Idris Elba, but he's starting to get a little older.
Okay, so this doesn't ruin it at all.
Okay.
There's a new 007 in
ruined.
Nice.
Yeah.
You blew it.
Yeah. Shit. If you didn't know, you know now. Yeah. So,
Right.
they're already doing something.
Okay.
They're playing around with narratives.
Well, but see, and that's been the thing, like, so the whole big James Bond thing is they're based off these books, right? And this whole series, Sir Ian Fleming actually wrote them, right? And he's got like a crazy story. We could probably do a whole podcast on like all the shit that he's done.
Noted.
But he was like, I'm pretty sure in the Navy, and so like he knows like all this shit, and like I don't know if he was actually involved in like the British Secret Service himself. But like he has like intimate knowledge about all this stuff.
I think James Bond is like the romanticized idea of his life,
right?
Where he's like, I was in that. Let's just take it to the next.
100%. And the books, like there is a lineage of 007s. Like it's not always the exact. It's not, there's all these James Bonds, but James Bond himself isn't necessarily like the only 007 that there ever has been, because essentially it's your number, the spy number you are. And like when you die, they give that number to somebody else.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Is the idea. But again, it's like, it's interesting because Pierce Brosnan's Bond was a little bit more kind of like, I was telling the boys, it was kind of more like shiny, more like, just kind of like he really relied on the gadgets and stuff, which was cool. And it was, oh my gosh, the guy from Monty Python, was John Cleese was Q, who's like James Bond's buddy, or James Bond's like the guy who gives him all his gear. He's kind of like Lucius Fox from the Dark Knight series. What's his name? Morgan Freeman's character from the Dark Knight series. Remember, like Batman would go see Morgan Freeman,
like the tech assistant.
100%,
dude. Yeah,
that's basically Q. This dude. So John Cleese, so that's like the original Q. He was like, I'm pretty sure worked with, what's his name? Sean Connery, when Sean Connery was James Bond. So he unfortunately died during Pierce Brosnan's run as James Bond. Goldeneye, I think, is the first one. They made a game. Did you guys ever play N64 Goldeneye?
No, but I played Casino Royale on Xbox.
Yeah, so did I.
See, this is
Unreal.
so.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Put that up.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like it's like literally I grew up with this Bond, and you guys grew up with Daniel Craig as your Bond. So it's the same idea. It's just a different kind of generation thing. But this was GoldenEye 007. Look at it. Look at those graphics, boys.
I mean, in this picture, this is legitimately Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
In the original GoldenEye.
Yeah.
That's
oh my
funny.
God. Actually.
Yeah.
That's
and then
amazing.
There's this, right?
We're just looking at pictures of N64 GoldenEye screenshots here. Again, it was just like really well laid out game. Again, the graphics were horrible, but just like the mechanics of the game were really good. I've never been a really big gamer, but some people around the world love that fucking game. And then this was Daniel Craig's GoldenEye. So sick. So obviously way better.
This was like
I think very similar.
This was like my first jump onto like online gaming.
Okay.
Yeah, and like doing like team sports,
Like Xbox Live?
like clan shit.
It
Yeah,
was
it was so
sick.
funny.
On live?
Yeah, jumping on Xbox Live.
That's sick. See, like,
So
again, like
funny.
I said, I never really was a big gamer.
Sick
Were you a
game.
big gamer?
Played MW2 a lot. That was
Yeah.
the crap growing up in our era. Like everybody used to run.
Call of Duty.
Like yeah.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2. Yeah. Like,
Right.
Everybody used to run home from school
Right.
to play that game. It was crazy. Some kids even grade 5, 6 skipping school, staying overnight to get the game. I
Yeah.
never did anything crazy like that, but yeah, that
Sure.
was definitely the era. Was that
Right. Yeah, I remember my roommates were playing this, and we had a projector in our basement, and we hooked up the PS3 to it,
That's crazy.
and we were playing Modern Warfare in the basement.
Projector vibes. Yeah.
That was the only time I ever considered I was like into playing games. That's not true. When I first got my Xbox,
Like trick shot and shit.
when I first got my Xbox, for sure, I played Crimson Skies like crazy. I don't know if you guys ever remember that one. That was
I
an
don't know that
original
one.
Xbox.
Crimson Sky.
It was like a airplane flying game, kind of like
Dude.
oh my god, what's that one? I don't really remember the name, but it's kind of like an adventure type game.
Cool, man.
Oh yeah, look at that shit. Like
Oh yeah, like Flight Simulator.
kind of like a flight simulator, but like you got
You
out of the
battle?
plane. Yeah, you got out of the plane sometimes, and like the main character was kind of like, oh my god, there's another video game series. Tom Holland just did the movie. Anyway, there was another video game series that was like an action adventure, like kind of modern day Indiana Jones. Check out Tom Holland's new movie. I think that might get us there. But each one of these planes had different things. It was cool. It was just like different missions and shit. But you're Uncharted. So that
Nice.
was a game too, and very kind of similar, except with Uncharted, you're not in a plane. You're just like ripping around doing
Yeah.
cool adventure
I
shit in
remember
the
Uncharted.
jungle.
Yeah. It's
Right?
actually a really good movie.
So again, that kind of vibe, but with planes. So I got really into that, just beating it. But that wasn't live. That wasn't playing against other people. That was just like, you know, playing against the game itself. But the other time was playing COD, like obviously against other people.
Yeah.
On PlayStation. So it was fun. Again, I, you know, never really considered my one buddy was like really into gaming when we were friends, like when we were kids.
Like crazy gamer.
Like PC stuff, but like would go on like it was like borderline addicted to it.
Yeah.
Like I'd go, so when we were, this is like elementary school, like we were buddies in elementary school. I'd go over to his house and stuff, and him and his brother would be playing Counter-Strike. That's where I remember
That
things
game is
started.
fun. Yeah.
And that was like the first time I was like, you guys are playing against like other people, like holy shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
So they ripped the shit out of that, and it was fun watching them. Like I would watch them play because I couldn't really do it, and I didn't really want to, but I would just watch them because they were so skilled at it. And like his brother would set up like a LAN connection with in the other room.
Yeah, you could play straight on.
It was sick because my buddy's brother is still to this day basically a computer genius,
Really?
like scary genius. Like he like went to school like Mohawk to get like his official shit, but like the teacher was like, you could be teaching this course, like because he just got into it so early,
General knowledge. Yeah.
like
Nice.
so early,
Passionately
just in it.
curious
like
about it.
since elementary school. Like he set up like a
Nuts.
server in his basement,
Involved. That's so sick.
like built shit, like
That's sick,
all types. So then my
Got a
buddy was
blockchain coming out.
his brother was
Probably. He's probably like a leader in one of the next like ecosystems right now, I swear.
he's cute.
He's cute.
He's queuing.
Yeah.
He runs the whole thing. I'm telling you. No, but so these guys were like really into computer gaming, obviously, because of that, and then that led to World of Warcraft.
Really, yeah.
Major, and there's
I
like a
never
thing with
played
World
that.
of Warcraft. Like there's
My
a lot
uncle
of people,
played it a
like some
lot
people
for
died.
hours.
Some
Really?
people died
Hours.
playing it, right? Historically.
Yeah, I feel like
Oh, I
people
bet,
either really played that game or didn't play that game at all. Like you either played that game like crazy
Yeah.
or never. I never touched it, but like
No.
the people I know who did play it,
Yeah.
have just went try hard, like
Mm-hmm.
swamp.
My uncle
ass
had
kinda
like
thing.
6 characters,
Yeah.
and all of them were like elite.
Right.
He's like, this is my sick guy. This is my other guy. They're all top level. I'm just like,
Wow.
holy fuck. This is why you're always down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like this is like grade 8 when it first came out for me.
Was it popular?
With my buddy specifically,
Yeah.
not that all of our friends were playing it or anything, nothing
Yeah.
like that. I didn't play it ever. But I'd go over to his house. I'd be like, yo, you want to chill? I'd be like, yeah, come on over. I'd go over to his house. He'd be already playing it. I'd sit like in his room, chill with him. Be like, all right, cool. Like kind of talk to him, watch him play, and then be like, all right, see ya. And he's still playing like when I'd leave.
Yeah.
So like obviously not great. Like so
Eventually that gets boring.
unhealthy,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
That's very
But like
unhealthy,
yeah, like
yeah.
him and his brother would play hard. He would like wreck his headphones from time to time from like raging.
Oh yeah.
Like it was
Few
just
spazzes.
like because you get so into it, man. And again, you know, I don't know if you guys ever watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but there's an episode that they kind of touch on it, almost like that South Park episode, not as blatant. Have you ever seen the World of Warcraft South Park episode?
No, I
Oh
haven't.
my God. That's one of my favorite episodes. One of the ones I only remember all the time, but it is fucking so funny.
I think this sums it up.
Yeah, look at these pictures. So we're just looking at screenshots from the South Park
Just search
World
WoW
of
South
Warcraft.
Park episode, and
The first shit that comes up,
very
basically the
obese
boys
person
just
playing.
like turn into lumps of shit playing because they want to like defeat this one particular
Boss.
troll kind of boss. Yeah, and that's him. Anyway, so but it's always
Chips Ahoy.
yeah. It's gross, man. The whole episode is wild. Basically, they just if anyone's listening who hasn't seen it, knows anything about World of Warcraft, all they do is they just kill pigs to get like small experience points and slowly build up their whatever level, and then they fight. But anyway, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia does this whole thing
Yeah.
where they have a separate game. It's not actually World of Warcraft. It's something else that they made up. It's kind of like a combination of like Farmville. Remember when fucking
Yes,
Facebook
on
had
Facebook.
that? It's like a combination of that and World of Warcraft a little bit. Anyway, actually, one of the writers of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia wrote a really cool show called Mythic Quest, which is all about a game production company like Blizzard.
Right.
It's like that their company, and they have a special game, and it's them developing it. It's all
That's
the,
sweet.
it's a really funny show. It's at Apple TV. It's called Mythic Quest. Anyway, this game that they play, all the characters in the show get like really, really into it, like overly into it, and it's like, it's like they just at one point one of the characters goes, when I'm doing good in the game, I'm doing good in life.
What?
He's like,
Oh,
when
wow.
I'm
When I feel good in
doing
life.
well in the game, like I feel
sorry.
good. What's this?
VR.
Oh shit.
Yo, brother Jack, do you want to pass that tray real quick, man?
What do we got here? So this is the next level of gaming.
Yeah, I was
Is that
just
what we're
gonna say,
saying?
like, imagine when
VR.
it gets to this, when you become James Bond.
So yeah. So you talk about I'm doing good in the game, I'm doing good in life. Like you can get into that just hitting clicks and watching a screen. What about when you're completely immersed?
Exactly.
Like
And
playing
it's-
fucking Tetris.
And it's truly like
like
you
what the
start-
fuck?
You start to log
It's
yourself.
Imagine
crazy.
that's what you got addicted to was Tetris.
Man.
Like it's not even that sick. Or like Pong. Like you're
I'm
not
sure
even
people
like
would.
Some
I'm
people
sure
are like that
would
right
do.
now,
Absolutely.
dude. There's like
For real.
speed runs and crap that people do on really
That's
old
true.
games.
Where
and they'll
It's just
spend
the it's just
hours
the
on
reward
the
system,
same
right?
game.
So it's like
fuck, bro. That reminds me of this sick documentary called The King of Kong. I might have done a
King of Kong.
podcast on it. Jesus, I've done
That
that
sounds
many now. I
familiar.
can't remember. The King of Kong, really fucking interesting. So essentially, those games like that they do now that they old school games, Mario and shit.
Right.
Before, when they were arcade versions of those games, like literally the fucking box with the joystick and shit, they had competitions.
Right.
Of who could beat the games, who could get the high scores,
Yeah.
all that shit.
who could get their name to like number one.
Yeah,
So,
like
yeah.
The high scores.
ASS or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
whatever.
At a $$.
JW7.
666 devil, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this King of Kong movie, it's a documentary. It's all about this one dude, and like if you film yourself doing it, like you can just do it wherever. You don't
Right.
have to like go to a special place. So this guy literally bought the machine for Donkey Kong.
Okay.
So the original
Yeah.
Donkey Kong game.
Yeah.
Like fuck, which in the original Donkey Kong game you are Mario. It's like a Mario fucking whatever version.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you call that shit?
Like
Version.
a mix. Yeah.
Right?
Version.
Yep.
So, but Donkey Kong is like the bad guy in it.
Right.
And essentially, you run through the levels and shit, doing your shit, and this guy like scored crazy high, whatever high score, sends his tape in, and like some guy challenges it and wins, but there's like a weird discrepancy with his video. It like jumps at one point, which almost looks like it was tampered with.
Oh.
We're just looking at a little bit of a is this like the trailer for it, Jackie?
Yeah, it looks like, or maybe even the movie. Yeah, it's the movie.
It's the movie itself. Yeah. So this dude here is like the
Look
reigning
at the
champ.
hair on this
I know,
guy.
the guy's
Holy
absolutely
Look at that hair.
guy's wild,
I mean,
insane.
gotta
Money.
love it.
This might be an even newer version of it.
Party.
Yeah. So anyway, these
Look at
guys
that
like
hair.
end up like have to like this guy this dude here, Steve Wiebe, he challenges the dude with the hair, and the dude with the hair never actually shows up, but this guy fucking has the high score. So anyway, it's a cool movie. Like the way it's done is really interesting. The documentary, it's on YouTube. It seems
full
here.
film.
We're looking at clips of the full film right now. Again, there's different there's a dude who won the fucking has the highest score for like Centipede, like literally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're saying. They're still doing these games today,
That's
right?
crazy.
And like doing quick runs and like you said, Tetris, like who can do it like the fastest?
There's like speed runs on any game, like Resident Evil games.
Oh
like the old
fuck!
Game. Yeah,
like who can beat it the fast?
like who can run through it and finish it
like
the
Halo.
fastest.
Like I'm gonna rip Halo from start to finish,
like fastest time. That's like the new thing, but people, it's kind of going crazy on Twitch. It's like become like a fad.
Right.
Like people are now doing speed runs on older games, and people are loving it. It's weird.
Big on Twitch, like the streaming, like game streaming, right?
Correct.
We were talking about that before. Just anyone listening doesn't know what that is. I'm sure you do, but essentially this platform where you can stream yourself playing video games.
Anything, chatting.
Anything right now. It started with video games, right?
Yes. Gaming is like the
anything.
dominant one. There's like some like ASMR ones now.
Right.
Like people like wear like masks and like make noises on the mic.
Live.
Some people love it. I think
It's all
weird.
live, right?
Everything's live.
It's supposed to be,
Yeah.
So like we were talking before, like musicians are starting to use the platform now too, right?
Huge. Doing like shows and that on live.
Super cool.
Which has been more popular lately. Well, it was because of COVID, but now people are kind of just doing it as like a part of their ad. It's like kind of like social like marketing for themselves, which is smart because they're getting like donations like crazy as well.
Sure.
When they do these live shows, that's why most people do them. I mean, like
Right.
most Twitch streamers don't necessarily make their money from the salary of the contract. It's necessarily more from their donations and ad revenue.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So Twitch pays them too?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Sometimes.
Like if you have enough subscribers.
If you have a contract with them. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because funny enough, my one buddy who was really into World of Warcraft, that's a mouthful for me.
World of Warcraft.
But WoW, yeah, exactly. He was really into WoW, wanted to do some Twitch stuff. I don't know if he has. I haven't talked to him in a while, but my one buddy's roommate was like, I guess getting paid. I don't know, somehow. Sure. I don't even know if it was just like testing, because this was like a little while back, but yeah, it's really, really interesting. I mean, again,
there's some crazy things on Twitch now, and there's like people eating stuff. Well, they'll do like that crazy like ASMR. Like crazy. They'll eat like squid. And, like show like it's just you can do anything now.
There's that one, I forget the name of it, but it, like you bite it and it fucking just explodes liquid.
It kind of looks like a dinger.
What's it called? Dewey or something? No, something like that.
A doingong or something like that.
Fucking weird like that.
Do you have rules?
So weird, man.
Dugong, the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, some Pokemon.
Dugong.
That's it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, that is it.
That's so funny.
Dugong.
But yeah,
man, that's an OG Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, video games.
That's
going
an OG
further, going
101.
to, like, play to earn as well. Like heads are going to start to in crypto now. There's like programs being created for online gaming where you just sign in, and as you play, if you do good, you earn money, you earn rewards, and then that just can be translated to certain things. It's fucking insane.
There's like a virtual poker one now. There's
like
a bunch of them.
And like it won't take much. Like imagine just being that guy who's like sick as fuck, but like doesn't have the money to travel for it, and you're just sick at home, and you can just like make a little bit of cash.
Sure.
Even if it's just like the points you like buy things online with, like Microsoft points used to be, and things like that. Even if you just earn passive like little rewards for the online gaming. Dope.
Think of like Clash of the Clans, but you're making crypto.
Yeah.
By playing and beating other things, and like it's insane.
Yeah.
Nuts, dude.
Yeah, again, like, you guys even mentioned that one where you can make donations to the people streaming in crypto too.
Yes.
Which is like a musician's kind of.
People would like.
What was that thing?
So they get like rated, like
Veracity.
Twitch stream raid would
Veracity?
go through.
Veracity, yeah.
Veracity. I'll look it up.
Yeah, Veracity. It's a newer project coming out that's made to be like a app as Twitch is for kind of streaming, whether it be gaming, crypto, or music, whatever it may be. But except you can now donate with that with your cryptocurrencies.
Sick.
There's no specific details to what they're going to be partnership and open with all the smart contracts that there is. It could be anything, but it's amazing to see what it's turning into and what it's being like integrated into, and how it still has a creative sense with every kind of platform. Right. But now there's like tokens with it where now, you know, just like with Jack and his art, he can now have a painting, sell it, but he'll get a percentage of it because he has now a code on it that says that it's his, and every purchase that it's made, he can have a percentage of it, which is absolutely insane.
100%.
That's the same thing that you could do when we were talking about music.
Right.
Like you create an album that's an NFT that once they buy it unlocks 13 songs that each have like a little bit of background information, maybe even like a separate version inside of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then anytime that somebody goes and shares that album, you would make the like passive share of that, whatever they like decide to sell it for.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that's how it could be like distributed and streamed basically.
And it could prevent piracy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Or it does prevent piracy, literally.
As much as it, essentially.
Right? Or no? It helps.
It helps.
Okay.
Because again,
Which is good.
You still need people to get involved the same way that like CDs and iTunes help today. Like you can still buy music, but at the same time, it's like, or I can just buy my favorite vinyl.
And the thing is, the musician can have 100% control of that too.
Yeah.
The problem now with streaming platforms, you have to give all your shit to these streaming platforms, and then they distribute it, and they make all the money, and you make nothing. With these NFTs, you can release it yourself. You can be the entire shit.
You are.
I can imagine the new version being like SoundCloud meets crypto. So it's like you have an online profile, you put your songs up there, people have to buy, you can buy like albums, you can buy individual songs. And then those get played, and those could be maybe even bought for a single play.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, how much is a single play of a song worth?
Which can easily be done. Like there's already like a SoundCloud Go.
Okay.
It'll only play like the first 5 seconds of the song, like the first 10 seconds.
Sure.
So you kind of get a feel for the song, but you can't necessarily play the whole thing.
Sure.
So if we can do that with crypto, the same thing with like a track that like you can make, each time someone wanted to hear the full song, like they can have the song after that.
Sure.
But that purchase, you would get a good percentage of that, I would assume. Interesting. I hope so.
Again, that's the thing. Like we're basically looking at like the future here, because
huge shift
with art too, even right. Like I like when you guys were saying like having that QR code on the shit. Banksy made a sculpture. Jack was saying with his
not Banksy, but FaZe Banks. So it's like one of the guys who started Well Connected, like one of the largest like gaming groups ever, and he bought a CryptoPunk. And he put a sculpture of it in his backyard, which is hilarious.
Which CryptoPunk is a NFT that blew up in like popular demand through celebrities, athletes, everything. Those guys,
$1 million pixels,
those pixel JPEGs, man. And have you ever seen those kind of pictures made? Make that in 15 minutes if you can.
For real?
Well, that's the new thing that's happening now too. Is like they're setting up programs that like. The computer will do it. Like code will just create them, and just customize them based on code.
Yeah, which is crazy, bro.
Right.
People are buying.
But
those.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Is like, do you want a hat?
Hundreds of thousands.
Do you want a little like? Do you want a cigarette? Do you want a joint? Do you want a pipe? Do you want cowboy? Like it's just.
So are these different people? Like are
they're
these
different CryptoPunks?
Yeah, different.
And people will pay hundreds of thousands for these, man.
Right.
Like Visa, this is what they bought. They bought one of these for $150,000.
That one's 7.58 million.
Current lowest price $381,000 US for the lowest.
For the lowest.
That's the floor price.
That's how many there are.
G-bus, man.
Insane.
It makes you it just blows your brain.
And it's just because people are like, I got this shit.
$1.54 billion have been
for sure
traded across these.
Dude, if you go on Twitter and you see any athlete or famous celeb with one of those as their fucking profile picture, you know it's because they put a fat bag into that picture. And it's just a
pure flex. It's just like
pure flex.
Yeah.
Pure. Hey, do you have a $500,000
picture?
Twitter picture? Like
yeah. Profile. Wow. But again, at the same time, we talk like Jack as an artist too, right? Like, this is interesting because this is the thing with art. We've talked about we end up talking about this a lot, but it's like essentially the people decide what the art is worth. Right? Like, you know, there's fucking shits in museums. There's a spoon on the fucking on the thing, and it's like, this is major art in a museum. So it's like, really, it speaks to that in a cool way, right? Where it's like, this is the way the market dictates what art is fucking worth. Like, what makes a Picasso worth millions of dollars?
If anything,
what makes
I
one of
think
these millions? It's the same question.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's been adding value to art.
Because it's also like what it represents.
If anything, to
too.
me, in my eyes, this is like a uplift of art.
It's an added value.
Yeah.
Well,
like
I think definitely
especially
the
when
fact
it comes to like painting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I feel like with the new era of like technology, it was kind of hard to implement that.
Yeah.
But now with this whole NFT
like
thing,
visual art.
It makes technology and visual art exactly come together in one.
Okay, so let's paint a picture. So let's say you created something on a physical canvas.
I have done it.
And you turned it into an NFT. So what is that process? What does that do? Like, now, what does that physical thing represent?
So there's like a variety of ways to do it, but you can add like unlockable content, so you can put it for a price.
Right.
You can sell it at like, again, that's like strict price, or you can put it into like bidding as well, so it'll fluctuate and different people can come in and again place that value, like you said. And then on top of that, there can be added value that I think like Christian and I are getting at, which is like, if, for instance, for Canvas, once someone buys the NFT, they can unlock the contract where they get my personal information, where we get on a call, and then I figure out their like residential address and everything, and then I send out the physical canvas.
Okay.
So then where I would like sell that to people, and the idea right now is like, if you're in the space enough or like even care about digital, I'm like, imagine having it in two spots at once. Like, imagine being able to be online or like somewhere in the world and be like, I have art at home, but here it is on my phone. You can spin it around. I think even further into like VR and digital galleries as well. Like, imagine you could rent your painting that's sitting in your living room to an online gallery. But that's also paying the artist as well, because inside of the original NFT that I like set up, I've created like a contract in it, so that anytime the image is used or sold, a royalty fee goes directly to
like print?
To my wallet.
No.
Sort of
like a digital print.
No, like it's like his NFT is still getting passed down. But each time it does that, he's just getting a percentage of that cost.
But I mean, like a art print. Like, you can buy a print of the Mona Lisa. It's obviously not the Mona Lisa.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah, but it's not.
That's
being,
what I'm saying.
It's
is it like that or no?
It's being kind of. It could be in a sense.
Like, someone own the physical and then someone own the NFT, like separate people, or is it meant to be the same person?
You could do that. You definitely could do that. It's from my perspective as an artist. Ideally, I would want them together. Like,
and there's
ideally,
only one of
that would
these
kind of
NFTs,
be in my
there's only
contract.
one?
Like, two can have it, but there's only gonna be one token on one of them.
There's only one NFT.
If you make one.
Yeah.
Like, for a canvas, I would only make one.
Sure.
Right.
Whereas, like, if you make digital art, for instance, a CryptoPunk, there's, however many, about hundreds, but they're like customized. So there's still a CryptoPunk NFT, but customized across each version.
True.
And the same way that, let's say I did a canvas, or I did a print and then sold NFTs of it.
Sure.
Each of those NFTs could involve different additional content. So let's say you buy 7 and I'm like a very like up there artist or like entrepreneurial person in any field, whatever it may be. And then that unlocks like an hour phone call with me.
Sure.
Right. Whereas like if Christian buys 10, that gets, because 10 is, $2,000 more, that gets him a chance to be like flown out to, my
private
studio
session,
or a private one-on-one, or a first batch attempt at the new product that's coming out in 6 months that we just released yesterday.
Wow.
Like, it's so much like involvement, community, and demonstration of ownership.
It's just like access as well. I mean, like,
access.
Think about it as like, you're not gonna have $750,000 painting 3 of the 4 or 5 of them in your house.
Right.
So what it does now is it allows you to go on this now metaverse, you know, like a virtual art gallery, just like Jack was saying, for you to see these things without having like your own archive in your garage or something that can be damaged or burnt down or anything of that sense like that.
Or it could be like in a gallery, like you said, somewhere, but you still have it access to it at home or whatever.
Yeah, any time you want.
And you just get dope ass.
And other people can view it whenever they want.
We'll invent like basically like sick ass LCD screens or something, whatever, OLED screens or something that look like a picture in a frame.
Without doubt. Yeah, there.
And then you just throw your fucking shit up there.
And they would fluctuate. They would do like a slideshow.
But like really sick.
Yeah,
like
really
not just
dope.
like the stupid
some
one
like
that
4D
used to be
shit
on your mom's shit.
There's versions. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
versions out there that
That's
people
sick.
have of their stuff.
That's super cool.
It's insane what's out there right now.
Right.
And just like what's coming is going to be absolutely
And like art is one kind of beginning area of it, but it'll also like, again, on the ownership thing, it'll spread to like anything that you ever want to like protect your stake in, or your, again, ownership, like your the deed to your house, or like your ownership to your car could be like an NFT that like if you have your Apple Watch with you when you get pulled over and they're like, hey, can I have your identification, you like tap your watch and it like digitally enhances out and enlarges so that there's like no old IDs, they're brand new all the time.
I forgot my license. Yeah,
you can never forget your license. So it's like it's solving problems for people in places that like, you know, ownership is like questionable when it comes into things like property.
Sure.
This is just like an added benefit as well.
Like there's already like online land that you can buy.
Yeah, there's World 2.
Yeah,
like
man.
someone can buy your house here in World 2.
In World 2. Like buy your land, like buy your property for crypto.
Wow.
Dude, it's
like,
insane.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Buy and trade virtual land.
Like there's
the metaverse of Earth.
What really blows my mind is how little though people
shit.
really know about what's going on.
Earth 2.
Like there's still like so little attention on what's really going on. Like there's a small population. There's like a crazy stat that there's only like 60 to 80,000 active wallets between like GameFi and like in like DeFi, which is such a small amount if you think about it. Like active wallets, like stuff going in and out of like a MetaMask or whatnot. I'm sure that number's higher when people just use straight brokers like Binance or whatnot.
Right.
But if you think about that, if I go up to someone and say, "Hey, do you know what?" I talked to someone today, bro, my same age.
Right.
Say, "Hey, man, there's this new thing coming out, this new sick NFT. Check it out." He's like, "What the hell's an NFT?"
Right.
And I almost like laughed. I'm like, "You're kidding, bro. Come on, you don't know what?" It's nuts, but not really many people know about it. I mean, it's different and it's skewed, obviously, because once you're in it and you kind of dive in it, that's kind of, you hear about things here and there, but I'm trying to inform my parents a lot too. Like they're stoked. They're buying stuff soon.
Cool.
See, it's just like it's a whole new era coming in, man.
That's the thing. Like, you know, we were talking before, like, the fact that, you know, we're at basically the cutting edge kind of thing of
economics and finance, man.
Of what could be a major shift in like, you know, what the future might be.
Sorry, this geeked. I don't have this open.
Oh, this is just
uno momento.
Is this Earth 2?
Yeah, if there's extra sound. I don't even have this window open.
This is just playing.
Yeah, this is just playing. I got
so
it.
Crazy though, bro. Mark, check this shit out, bro.
Yeah, hey, fuck it. There might be extra sound, people.
But like, what's
same
crazy
seas,
is like the way that
same heights.
Like the way that they do it, man, is just unreal. Like the way that they make it look. Like this stuff makes me excited for the future.
It's on YouTube, everybody. The video we're watching, Earth 2.
So you're literally,
select and purchase.
But someone
land.
else owns this shit.
Not there.
So it's specifically parts that are not owned.
No, it's like.
Or they're owned by government.
It's a copy of the world that's being traded.
See, so what the fuck is the difference between this and like? Did you guys ever see that shit where you could like buy a fucking
farmland?
You could buy a piece of the moon. Did you guys ever see that shit? You could buy like
a
10 by 10 meter of the moon.
Yeah,
it's like I own that, but how the fuck are you ever gonna claim that?
This is like buying like a star.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except these are more popular.
It's a belief.
And they gain crazy
money. But like, what if someday the government of tomorrow is like,
dude,
hey, the Earth 2 is legit.
Yeah.
Pay property
and now
tax.
some guy just owns your shit.
And pay property tax on it.
And some fucking dude from Russia bought your house, like, without you knowing.
But I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool to think. Like, imagine you go on vacation, you have like a sick view that you like really like, and you can buy it in Earth 2, and then you can put it on, like you said, the OLED screen in your living room that you like will just spin through every 25 minutes.
Right.
What's your like favorite hometown place?
But then again, we go back to the whole virtual reality thing.
Well, that's just it. Like soon you're going to be able to zoop into your land and home that you got on this world
it's not
too.
An if, it's a when.
And then it's like oh, well, what do we call this? Oh, let's just call it life.
And like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like what's the point of even purchasing some of this shit? If like whatever your access to this virtual reality is. Like if they create like something basically like an internet.
What if this is a world 2?
This is a virtual where they're Earth 2, because this is what this makes me think is what if Earth 2 is just like the metaverse,
right?
Like the digital version.
It is. It's called the metaverse too. That's the craziest part. Like they're calling it the metaverse.
And like that's
Facebook is coming out with a thing called the metaverse.
Really?
Facebook, and they're going to change their name. That's how invested they are into it.
Like, what's to say that we're not already in an Earth 2, though?
That's what I'm saying. This is an Earth. That's Earth 3.
Easily.
Right?
Who knows? Every time, they just keep showing us it's Earth 2. It's always Earth 2. But we're like, what's Earth 1?
Is that why we have deja vu?
That's what I always say. When we talked about that before, I think deja vu is like a clashing of the multiverse, though.
A clashing?
That's a multiverse though thing. That's a different theory than simulation.
Yeah.
Where I think that there's
I'm
like
more on
universes. It doesn't make sense because it's actually an oxymoron to say multi-universe because universe means one.
Right.
But like a multiverse where it's like essentially like I look at it like vibrating strings, and sometimes they harmonize together, and I think that's what deja vu is.
Tones.
That at that point, multiple or infinite versions of you are experiencing that moment at the same time. That's what I think it is. What that feeling is. I mean, again, I don't even know what the scientific. Yeah, like we're just watching. For everyone listening, we're just watching this like video of like a flyover basically through like the forest. You can you can just fly. Virtual reality, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
A little drone fly in your living room.
See, but that's the weirdest thing.
Is this
like
World 2?
And that's what they say.
Yeah. This is World 2?
And that's what they say about this reality, because they'd be like, oh, okay, if this was virtual reality, why can't we just like fly, and why do we die? Why can't why is there any danger at all if we've created this virtual reality? Well, what if we got to a point where we're like, this shit's boring. Right. I want real consequences. I want to forget that it's a game. I don't even want to know that it's a game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the ultimate experience.
Well, that's the only way the game can be ran.
That's what we're all striving for. That's literally everything we're striving for right now in the video game virtual reality world is make it look like it's not a game.
Game within a game,
like
within
Madden,
a game.
2K, fucking any game is like, how can we make this look like it's not an actual video game? Why? I don't know. Have they ever asked themselves why? Like, is that ever in the board meeting where they're like, yo, we're coming up, it's gonna look, LeBron James gonna look way more like actual LeBron James? Like, why?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have real LeBron James. Why don't we just watch him fucking play? Like, it's an interesting fucking shit. But again, if you get to be that person and live vicariously, and I guess it gets down to the root of why some people play, or not play at all, but some reasons why people get like seriously into video games is because it is a like vicarious experience where, again, if you're doing good in the game, you're doing good in life, and that's relatively unhealthy probably. But with these virtual reality, like, that's just, again, looking at a screen, hitting fucking controls,
buttons,
hitting fucking A, W, fucking X and S, or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
already doing it,
and you can get that immersed in it, let alone in full, like, if they make like next level
VR,
like direct input. Like, what about Elon with this like neural input,
just greater
Neuralink
incentive too? Like right now, gaming or whatever is like, okay, yeah, gaming. But imagine it's like, again, you can make money no matter who you are. And then people find out they're really good at like Brick Breaker or Tetris, and then you have like grandmas making money at home just from their like regular phone use, but then they're like in just too far into it, or kids or whatever. It's like, man, the stretch, the influence.
But again, there's like it seems like there's like a human urge to like play some type of game, you know.
I feel bad for the generation under us and coming up, because that's all they're kind of fed into, like, is TikTok and all these games and stuff like that, like, that are so realistic. Like, imagine playing the Call of Duty that the kids are now when we were young.
Yeah.
We thought our Call of Duty was sick. Like, it's the one now. What the hell? You wouldn't want to get off.
Even the difference between
kid.
mine and my Goldeneye and your Goldeneye.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Night and fucking day.
Dramatic.
Night and day. And it just seems to be like a social norm, like you said. Like, everybody's a cool streamer.
Right.
You know? So everybody, but what do streamers do? The game.
But that's the thing. That's the one question I have with all this stuff. It's
like,
so saturated, though. There's so many people doing it. How
but
is
it's also,
anyone
again,
successful?
it's a digital world now.
Right.
It's like there used to be, you know, way more of everything. There used to be more doctors. There used to be more this. Like, there's always a shortage of this, a shortage of that. And it's like, it's because people are just incentivized by different things now.
Sure.
There is that digital world.
But certain things like that had like different gates of access to.
I see where
like
you're coming
doctors
from
and
now.
Education and certain things. It's like,
for sure.
Literally, it's great because it's released all of those obstacles into getting into something that you could potentially make money from and be successful at. But again, has that just completely saturated the market?
For sure.
Like, you know what
like
I mean?
there like used to be like figures, like heads of people in the whole industry. Like, if you talked about certain people in certain games, like, those were the faces of that game. That person was the face of this game. Yeah. Now it's just like everybody's the face of everything.
Sure.
It's just like who's the most popular. But either way, they're all.
But it's almost like the lie that we tell athletes sometimes too, like NCAA athletes who say, "Oh yeah, we'll give you a full ride, but we're not going to give you any money because it's different now. You can get sponsorships." But in previous years, it was this based on this whole idea that you're going to be pro someday, but like less than 1% of the NCAA goes pro. So is this whole streaming thing, like, kids are going in, putting their whole life into doing shit, but because it's almost like, again, you can say the same thing about this podcast because there's so many fucking podcasts out there.
Yeah.
You know, does it just get lost in the fucking mix? No matter what the content is, unless you're unbelievable at your marketing and, like, I mean, again, you'd hope the cream rises to the top. You hope the best stuff gets out there eventually. But when there's so many things, like, again, even, you know, music industry shits, like, and that's like, when you really look at it, yeah, there's a lot of bands out there, but really there's not that many versus like something like this, where there's millions of streamers, millions of YouTube contributors, like YouTube videos. This podcast goes up on YouTube amongst the millions of other videos that get uploaded. It's interesting. I don't know necessarily what I'm saying, if it's good or bad. I think it's just interesting that, you know, it's just so many people have access. Is that, again, are we moving towards this whole virtual economy, right, where what you do is just online, right, or like somehow virtual, or somehow
it comes to convenience
in that virtual reality.
Convenience and security, I think, are like some of the main factors as to
and
why.
I think also like how new it is deals with a lot, or like is the reason for a lot of the saturation. Like, eventually I think these things will become more like passive, like we were joking before, like waking up, picking your phone up and just shaking it and knowing that you've like earned some crypto or some earning of some sorts, whatever it may be. Right. And I think right now, like, it seems saturated, but I think it will ebb and flow out of that. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Still think
I know that's
too
what you're
early.
That's what you're getting at before too. I understand. Yeah, it's
but
like
you're right. It is very saturated, and like,
but it will shake out eventually.
And it also is like, it's natural competition.
Yeah, like you'll just have your tiers.
There's a lot of people, but there's a lot of reward if you get through. All of it.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah, there's it's just gonna be tiers. There's already tiers. Like, you can see it with like the Twitch streamers and stuff. Who's elite, who's not. And there'll even be like Twitch kind of like, not like beef, but like gossip of like, oh, like, don't, you're a B-list streamer. Don't
Right,
talk to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can take it as
Just
far
like
as you
I guess
want, I
like
think, too, right?
movies and TV and art and everything. There's all tiers to everything, really. If you look at it that way, right? There's like, you know, your A-list celebs,
Exactly.
like your number one movie stars, your Daniel Craigs and shit, and then you have guys that are like character actors in that same realm.
Would you say that acting is saturated?
Well, that's the thing.
Right.
How many actors are there in the world? Yeah, potentially. Again, I guess you could look at anything as, you know, but how many people that actually call themselves actors out there? Probably not that many. And then the ones that are actually successful is even smaller amount.
Sure.
You know, because it's a skill, right? Again, musicians, the same idea. Artists, there's a skill there that you've learned. Not to say that some of these streamers are unskilled, but you don't necessarily have to have any skills to do shit. You could open up you can open up toys on YouTube and get millions of dollars a year.
Yeah.
Not like I'm not in no way am I saying that is bad or they're themselves like lesser than a person.
No, for
it's
sure.
just, you know what I'm saying? It's just more like before there was barriers to entry to some of the athletes, you have to actually be good at what you do. So
Well, yeah.
anyway.
And yeah, going back to your question, is it going to change how everything works with like flow and that?
Right.
And I definitely think it's already showing to be that way with even Bitcoin and all this crypto phase as much mainstream as it is.
Yeah.
There's governments now like institutionalizing that as their crypto,
Sure.
as their currency, or like
Right.
Dogecoin in certain like countries. You know what I mean? So
Right.
even for this like this massive adoption of it, it's decentralized and it's almost a way for stuff to be moved without people necessarily need to be tracked, so people can see that it's safer.
Sure.
In that sense, because now I have a wallet and no one's gonna know about my wallet unless I give them my information about my wallet.
Yeah.
On where, on who, how.
Yeah.
Right. Unless you can obviously click on a wrong link or send someone to the wrong person, you're gonna get hacked. But again, that's on the onus of the person.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
I think the biggest thing too with all this at the end of the day too is that it gives people a lot more control over the money that we have.
Right.
And like how transactions are done, from security to just like owning the money from it too, you know, not worrying, like, you know, I think we've come to a place with our global economy that there needs to be a change. I think the way we do money right now is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's bloody numbers on the screen already.
Well, that's just it.
So like, what the fuck is everyone even talking about?
Banks are already doing it. They've been doing it. You're paying for
but they have full control, which is
fake
the bad
money,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
A
This
few
is creating
people-
a lot more transparency
Yeah.
across money and asset.
Like people can
Which
just
is huge.
click their
Like,
phone
why?
and pay now.
Again, when we break it down like this, why isn't this the thing? Why isn't everyone into it? You know what I mean? Like, why isn't everyone doing crypto right away?
I think there's like this there's still like a worry of,
Exactly.
you know.
and I don't think they had time either.
Well, it's
But
still
it's a
so
worry
new.
coming
wasn't-
from,
there
it's a
wasn't
worry
the-
coming from the big banks.
There wasn't like
though.
the infrastructure / time. People were concerned with something else. Like
Yeah.
they
People
still
are
believed
worried
that
about
they
a
had to go
crash.
to job
Right.
to make sure that things were taken care of. Leave the money to the big guys. Leave it to the hedge funds. Leave it to
Sure.
da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna take
They
care
know
of
how
it.
it works.
Whereas now, like
We
that
trust
narrative, yeah, exactly. Where again, that narrative is now like, wait, this is what they've been doing this whole time, and like we've just been waiting for those like tiniest of tiny crumbs.
Yeah, we're
Right.
just like kind of with a bag, like catching whatever they've dropped. You know
Sure.
what I
Yeah.
mean? But we can.
Yeah. And I think it was, you know, maybe it was nefarious why it is what it is now. These big bankers, maybe they're evil dudes, or maybe it's just like that's how they got to where they were
I think it was
today
just
because
a
there's so
system,
many
yeah.
people,
A
and you
mix.
had to eventually be like, there's not enough fucking tangible gold right now on the earth.
Right.
We can't. We have to start
Yes.
creating these numbers and like, all right, let's back it up by petroleum, and they had to start doing these weird fucking games because there's so many motherfucking people. If you start printing all these notes, the fucking shit's gonna go. It's gonna be worthless anyway. It ended up being there was a depression. There was a fucking financial crisis in the 80s or whatever. There's a financial crisis in 2008, all because of this shit. Because they're playing stupid fucking games with imaginary numbers, to make up for trying to control all this fucking money that there's too many fucking people to deal with. So again, maybe it wasn't necessarily nefarious to start with, but right now they're holding on to that shit for fucking dear life. You know what I mean? Like the big banks don't want to fucking get into this because they see just as well as we do, probably more than we're fucking three guys sitting in this room. they probably know all this shit, what the future's going to hold, and they're fighting tooth and claw to be like, fuck this new shit because it's going to give power back to the people.
Well, that's it. They don't have the power anymore. That's why they're scared.
I think that transparency is, again, like the benefit of whatever's going on, all these new like systems and startups and whatever.
Oh shit, yeah. Do you want to just do another one of those cones? Is that easier?
Yeah, 100%.
It's just in that drawer there, Jackie.
Top one?
Yeah. In a pink little tube.
Yeah, you were saying about the transparency?
I think it'll create, like, I don't think we're going to be doing away with banks.
Sure.
What I think we'll be doing away with is how much control the banks have, what banks do, and naturally I think the
general system,
the methods that the banks use will change. Your rewards from banks will eventually change because they'll have no fucking choice. Like they'll realize like, oh, no one's coming to us anymore. Like it's all online. It's all on the DeFi like protocols and whatever else is going to be coming through. Yeah. Whereas previously money was just going to the bank and getting used elsewhere. Whereas people are just blind to it.
Someone can argue that they want to use the bank as like a way to like invest their money in that, but you're getting such a small percentage of how long you're really holding it for. And I mean,
because there's still like the stock market and stuff, I guess.
Absolutely,
like, the bank has to deal with.
Exactly. And I mean, if you've put money into the S&P 500 for the past 15, 20 years, I'm sure you've done okay.
Yeah. Right. But this is the root of fucking all evil too. At the end of the day, it's like same with like the gas companies. Like that's. I don't know if I've actually seen the documentary, but I heard the gist of it's called The Death of the Electric Car. Mm-hmm. You guys ever seen that or heard about it anyway?
I've heard about it, yes.
The Death of the Electric Car, Jackie's just pulling that shit up. It's basically who killed the electric car. Sorry.
The gas, baby.
Who killed the electric car. So it's basically just this whole idea that the fucking gas companies have squashed every study project new development. Like they fund these fucking companies like GM and Ford and stuff. They're gonna be like, fuck you, we're not gonna give you any money. Now we're starting to get into different territory because we're seeing the success of Tesla and all this shit. But like, and don't get me wrong, maybe electric cars aren't the perfect way to go too, because to me that just like kind of downshifts, it like shifts down the line, like the burden on the climate, like it's
environmental issues.
The car itself ain't producing as much emissions now, but now we're putting more of a load on the fucking power plants that are just as fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So unless we get better renewable resources for that, then I'll start to understand the electric car a little bit more.
I thought
maybe hydrogen, fuel cells is probably the better way to go.
Well, wasn't there like a steam car made? There was one that was like a steam.
There is a usable hydrogen fuel cell. It's just it's
like a gas company bought it and just destroyed it.
Shit like that. Yeah. And they own it and they shelve it. Like they'll buy the fucking patent and they'll just shelve it.
Yeah, just get rid of it. Yeah.
Just put it on the fucking shit till they need it, because they know one day there will come a day. Like that's the unfortunate part about humans is that we don't do shit, and this is from an individual level to a broad global level. We don't fucking really do shit until we have to.
Right.
There are some people that are proactive. Yeah, there's proactive measures here and there, but most of the time our behavior is a reactive behavior. We're not really good at anticipating because no one can fucking actually tell the future. So our nervous systems and bodies are kind of set up to be a little bit more reactionary, right? And society and fucking social shits and economy and all that stuff is so new to our evolutionary history that we're on here like living these lives that we're still reacting to wild animals in the jungle.
Right.
But now we're creating these new beasts like the economy and the stock exchange. Like it's an animal itself. It lives and breathes, you know what I mean? And we are now built to react to that. And also this is kind of the like modern times anyway, let's say the last 60 years is the only time we've ever really given a shit about our climate.
Right. Because
so think about all the hundreds of years that we spent fucking shit up.
Yeah.
And still to this day, even the past 60 years, because like I say, maybe it was acknowledged 60 years ago, but ain't no one done shit about it until maybe the last 20 years.
Yeah, only when lakes and stuff started turning pink and you have fish
This is
that
what I mean.
float in the
This is what I mean.
dead smell of fish all the time because all the E. coli blocking off all life.
And most of the time up until now, we've been able to react, but there's gonna come a time where we do irreparable damage,
Right.
where the shit is last fucking stand.
Last
we gotta
resort.
fuck last resort, 100%. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, humans work like that. So I'm hoping eventually, but again, the gas companies are the ones that it's just like we said with the fucking banks. They're not going to lose out completely.
Right.
There's so much other shit that they can do.
Yeah.
We need tires still.
They're-
Like petroleum's in everything.
They're just sucking the juice out of everything they really can
But that's
until
the
it
thing.
runs out, right? It's human greed.
Well, it's not enough to make $1 million. You got to make two.
Right. And
Right?
then you,
And
and then you
once
gotta
you
make
made
10.
two,
You gotta make
you
10.
ain't never want to make $1 million again. God bless you, Jack.
Yeah, bless you, bro.
Once you made 10, you never want to make fucking 9, right? And you just keep,
Right.
it's always about, last year the company did, this amount. The next year it has to be 1% better and 1% better and 1% better. You know what I mean? Who cares if maybe one day or 1 year you make a little bit less? You're still making millions and millions of dollars. But
But
again,
they still got to squeeze that last little bit of juice from that lemon, man. Because
So that's the
because
thing.
it's there
essentially,
in their mindset, right?
yeah.
I mean, what I think about sometimes is how much garbage we produce, dude. Like, where the hell is all the garbage going to go?
Especially all the COVID garbage.
Literally just being piled up and just left.
Like because
Fucking insane.
that's the thing, like we and even if you look at it logically, it's like, yeah, we needed to do all this shit because it was a global emergency and we needed to have all this disposable shit to keep it safe. So yeah, logically it makes sense, but it's still gonna fuck up our shit like real bad. Like I can't
100%.
imagine all the masks.
Like the only like feasible thing I think you can really do is toss that stuff in lava. But then
Sure. But then you have all the off gases. But
Exactly.
see, this is a funny thing. I was just talking to the brewmaster at the brewery. You guys know Rob.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just
Shout out, Rob.
for everyone
Shout out,
listening,
Rob.
we were talking to Rob, the brewmaster, and he was saying, like the Scandinavian countries incinerate all their garbage. A lot of European countries like incinerate their garbage because they don't have dumps like we do. Because
Right.
we have a lot of land.
Yeah.
we can have these dumps.
We can dig a hole somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
But even look at like New York City, they ship all their shit, right?
Right.
And in fact, we were shipping a lot of shit to China for a long time.
Really?
Yeah. Big time.
When?
Because they fucking burn it.
Shipping containers.
Yep.
Really?
Oh yeah, man.
Why
for
China
years and
though?
years.
Because they'll get rid of it. They don't care.
Yeah, they'll burn it because they don't have like an EPA.
Oh, right. They don't have any environmental concern.
Right.
Yeah.
It got to such the degree where I'm pretty sure they started like turning away.
Here, you can put that right in the middle here.
Turning away like Canadian shipping.
Yeah, again, because of all of our environmental laws, it's preventing us from. We can't even do a lot of shit with some of the stuff that we
Right.
have. So again, they're sending it. So
That blew my mind when I found that out.
yeah.
That like we send shipping containers of trash across the ocean.
That seems like so much effort at work.
Could you imagine opening one of those
Look at that.
containers?
That's
though?
disgusting. Yeah.
Could you imagine
Sitting in like 10 days of hot sun
in like Pyeongchang or whatever, and it's fucking
Yeah.
hot as balls.
in fucking Taiwanese, buddy.
It's just garbage juice, man.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
just leaking. It's like that green looking oil
Oh,
fluid.
it looks like Jaeger.
You just want to just soak it in your hair.
Just the forbidden Jaeger.
This says Trudeau to take out Canadian trash, and I thought this was him in the photo.
Oh.
It's just posted.
He's
there.
taking it like
Well,
a champ.
fuck.
though. No mask.
you
Well,
gotta put that in the
fuck.
podcast now.
Oh my god.
Shout out Trudeau.
Shout out Tommy T. His name's fucking Jacques. What's his name? Fucking. I
Realistically,
want to say Pierre Trudeau. What's-
realistically, how
Justin.
long? Justin, yeah.
Sorry, boys.
How long do you think we'll be able to breathe freely, openly?
I think we'll die before we have trouble.
Well,
I hope
people
so.
were
I'm
starting
not
to
gonna
think.
lie, I hope
people
so.
were starting
I
to
mean,
think this is where we make the transition to wearing space helmets.
Well, that's it, man.
Like that's what they're thinking when we started having to wear masks.
Might as well go to Mars.
That this was the shit. Can't believe I forgot Justin Trudeau's first name. I just wanted to say Pierre, which
That's
is his
so
dad,
funny.
but
Yeah, shut up, yeah.
baked.
Pierre.
Show, thanks for making weed legal, and I forgot your name.
Trudeau Senior was the OG though.
100%.
He did some work.
He did work, kept us out of Vietnam,
Yeah.
and did some greasy shit too, you know, like every fucking world leader. But what are you gonna do? Why is all this shit as like a verified link? Is that what that green check mark is besides some of that shit?
Yeah, it's like your antivirus.
Yeah.
It's safe to go ahead.
You're okay.
All right.
You're safe.
Go in there real quick, yeah.
You're
Yeah,
safe.
because I think
man.
we got fucking attacked hard, like the
Yes.
Microsoft network,
Like
got
globally,
fucked.
yeah.
Yeah.
A quick
So
little
everything-
attack.
Everything's been
China's trying to get at us.
every email I get is
Tibbity,
like, this is from an
tibbity,
outside
tibbity,
source.
tibbity.
Like,
Yeah.
are you sure you want to open it?
I've been
It's
getting
like
some crazy
an order
phone
from a
calls, too.
licensee. It's like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
my job.
Yeah, that's my supplier.
Help me, man.
My buddy Pete down
Yeah.
from China.
From fucking Wuhan.
Can't even pronounce my name, but we're still homies in that.
Yeah, he's from fucking Wuhan. He's got the kegs.
He's kicking them around.
He's
dude.
got that bat logger.
What is this? What is this? Cryptos, man. CryptoPunks.
Yeah, just pancake swaps.
NFT
Versions,
stuff.
yeah.
Insane.
Shit punk.
Yeah, just again, this whole NFT thing is wild. You know, we talked about, you know, just that whole idea. Like, you know, we were kind of saying it's not just like, you know, some people are like, oh, it's like owning Apple stock. Like before that, no, this is like
Completely different.
Oh, we were talking about like trying to make an analogy, like owning fucking the American dollar, like the fucking bonds or the fucking shits.
It's like being one of the first people to plug in an Ethernet cord.
Right.
or it's like owning gold,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like being like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Right?
even that's one thing though. Like
Exactly.
the system, the
Sure.
entire like environment that's being created.
Right.
That's just like internet revamped. I think,
Massive.
in my opinion.
Dude, like evolutionary.
Well, again, you talk, you know,
For real.
the internet is mighty powerful. It's ultimately powerful, and it connects people, and it can do bad, but this, I think, is the good shit. And I think because of all the bad shit the internet does, people are fucking sketched about this.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and also
100%.
how this started too was a lot of illegal shit.
Yes.
People
Yeah,
were
like
just
does
a lot of
what even
Ponzi's and
exist?
getting rugged,
Like,
which means like getting in and
Hitachi fucking
Satoshi
Nakamoto.
Nakamoto.
Does he really exist? Is he a real person? Because I've heard he might not even be a real person. That it was just like a pseudonym
there's so
that like
many-
5 guys made up.
There was
Yeah.
just a
That
figure
guys who actually made it up.
for
There's
a
probably
figure.
so many ideas around it. Yeah, it's an idea.
And the
He
FBI
could be dead.
owns
If
the
he
most,
was a real person, there's ideas that he's dead now.
The
Right,
giga brains
right.
behind it, dude. Who knows?
and the FBI has like
The whole
most,
thing is
right?
probably a hoax.
They have all the Bitcoin. Mostly.
The whole thing is probably ran by the FBI.
But that's mostly because of seizures, though. Because there's like when they arrest people, they seize their assets, right?
Yeah, probably.
know?
Probably.
But still, you ruining my laptop over there.
Nah, man. Swear to God. Swear to God.
Just pour a full glass of water on it.
Yeah. No, it's good, man. Shout out headphone users.
But again, you know, like what a time in history, right? Like it's rare, you know. Yeah, obviously COVID has been, you know, fucking crazy, unprecedented times. But like to look around and be like, holy fucking shit, like this could be the future, or this is the future essentially, in some ways.
It's
like
a
to be
future.
right on the fucking floor.
Do you think computers control us now?
Damn. Fast. Good
I
question.
mean, that's the thing. Like we
All-
talk about androids and shit.
Right.
The answer to this question is when you go and take a shit, do you grab your phone? If the answer is yes,
Yes.
you're a slave to the phone.
Yeah,
Yeah, I swear.
is that it?
Yep, that's my
I do sometimes.
I think
that is
well,
my thesis.
I do most of the
That's
time.
my thesis.
Waking up, first thing you see. Going to
I do
bed,
not.
last thing you see.
I do not touch my phone in the morning.
No,
I try not to as much as I
I
feel like the
don't-
first
I
hour.
don't sleep with my phone in the room. I
do.
charge it. I
That's,
charge it
that's,
here.
That's a good idea.
That's really
I
good.
use mine.
I
for
have like
an
I
alarm.
just have like
I
an
have an
alarm
alarm
clock.
clock though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just have an alarm clock.
I recommend that.
That's
for
really
sure.
cool.
It's better.
That's been decent, and I wear like blue
To
light,
get an
but I
alarm
wear
clock.
blue light
Well,
glasses.
where am I gonna put my phone? I live with the fucking.
Well, I mean, you can just have it, but for instance, like it just doesn't become your
or
alarm
like don't
clock.
have it right beside your bed.
Don't have
like
it, yeah.
arm's length kind of thing.
Like
Don't
literally
have
like
it. We have
throw it
get it
across
where you
the room.
have to
on
get
your-
up to get
on
it.
your desk
Yeah, for sure.
for your layout. Yeah.
Yeah, because then like you have
Away
to get
from
up
an
out of
arm's
bed to get
distance.
it. So
Yeah.
like
Once you're up, you're up.
yeah.
I usually, I'll be honest. I usually fall asleep to it,
I'm
like
pretty-
looking at charts and
Sure.
shit.
I'm pretty decent for
Sure.
not
I
like.
used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty decent for not using it right when I get up.
Right.
Like in long period of time. Like I get up, I put music on, and
Right.
then I like listen to music,
100%.
do shit around the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, at
Same.
nighttime, I'm usually on it pretty late. Like last night, my eyes were fucking burning looking at crypto. Yeah. And I was like, God, I gotta change my fucking brightness.
Yeah, dude, I have all my stuff on.
Do you rock blue light glasses?
No, I should.
I find that
I've heard
it helps.
Good things about them.
I especially if I'm like doing lots of editing at night and stuff, like I find it helps like falling asleep faster.
Yeah, I just put my stuff on that orange screen, everything, my Mac, desktop, phone.
Yeah, drop it down.
But like I have it on all the time.
It's like a setting.
Yeah.
I don't have mine on like a high brightness most times, but evening wise, shit's blaring.
Click on your screen.
Yep.
Night shift. It turns your stuff like yellowish.
Oh, I see.
So it takes out the blue light.
Oh, no doubt. Right. Yeah, I see. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I usually have that on full time on my Mac. And
that's what it looks like when you wear the blue light glasses.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool.
So essentially, it takes out the blue light for you.
Right.
So I try to run that as much as possible because I'm
100%.
Usually looking at screens for most part.
Right. I mean, the blue light during the day isn't bad for your eyes. It's just, again, our human eye was basically developed to take about 12 hours of light, no more. Right. Like, I mean, not no more, but like a little bit more, you know, because sometimes places in the world have more than 12 hours of light, right? So anyway, it's just,
technology does control us.
Well, that's the thing. Like, how much have we adapted to technology? Like, since the invention of the light bulb, essentially. Like, yeah, we had lanterns and like we had like flash, like little candles and shit to burn, but like that's as bright as a fucking candle's ever gonna be. It never was like crazy bright. Like, even look at these fucking lights. Like, this shit looking right directly feels like you're looking at the sun.
Yeah, it does.
That shit never existed until you know, the last 100 years at best. Right, since Edison invented the bulb, right? So
it's like a weird want until it happens, but man, imagine all electricity and everything
just went out.
Complete
Bro,
out.
society would freak the fuck
nighttime
out.
would just be fucking nighttime.
People would freak the fuck out. I would give it 27 hours.
People would start to snap, but then eventually
people start breaking into neighbors' doors.
Like, well, you just got to use fucking daylight. I mean, all the other electricity, but just light itself. If we lost just light, I think eventually people would adapt to like a 12-hour schedule and be like getting up at the crack, like, you know, when you go camping, and you like get used to that circadian rhythm. It takes like a day. Yeah. Right?
It definitely takes.
And all of a sudden, as soon as it's getting dark, you're like, man, I'm fucking wiped out. And you're like, it's 9:00. Yeah. Or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
There's something about being outside for sure.
Eventually, I feel like we would be a little bit more adaptive. And it's because of artificial light that we're able to stay up later and we're able to like have night shifts and do shit at night. And it's good and it allows us to like build more shit and create more and do as we do. But at the same time, as human beings, we haven't had time to really adapt to this like physically and like evolutionary wise. Right. But as far as like society is concerned, to get back to your question, society and economy and like job function, all that shit, like we'd be fucked if we didn't have any of these technologies.
Fucked.
Yeah. Look at, especially over the last year.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like no one's doing school if we didn't have technology. No one's doing
and no one
anything.
Wants to go back.
Right.
Teachers want to do shit on fucking Zoom, bro. They don't want to sit or go to the thing anymore. They'd rather do it with their kids next door. So when they're done, they close their laptop and go back to the family.
Do a slideshow, do a voiceover.
Yeah, exactly. Which most do. Yeah. Trust.
And that's where I hope we can get back to too, as like kind of a, I don't know where that went. As I got another one here though.
I got it.
As we kind of like start to realize, I think this fucking work schedule we've created for ourselves is killing us. Right? People are working way too much. Like, do we need to be working fucking 5 days, 6 days, some people 7 days a week, hours and hours? Yeah. Like, can we figure out another way
for
and still get this shit going?
Losing buying power.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's becoming
you're working more for something that's not working as much for you.
And that's the thing. Again,
go buy groceries and tell me
the same. Gets back to greed though.
Yeah.
Gets back right where it's just like people just want to keep pushing that thing. Bezos just wants to get that package to you that much quicker. And what's that going to do? I'm good right now. What's that going to do? It's like it's going to fucking fall on the human where, you know, eventually maybe if we have enough robots to do all of our work, we'll be able to kind of sit back. But then if you talk to like some fucking go hard like Joe Rogan, he's going to be like, well, people are going to be fucked then, really fucked, because we're not going to have like anything challenging us.
They already have robots in like Hong Kong that serve you at McDonald's. There's no employees.
Sure.
Press button.
So like, let's just say everything's done that can be done with robots.
I think you'll just be doing different shit.
Shrink the amount of jobs that humans can actually do. So will there just be an amount of people on the planet that just don't work?
Right.
Yes.
But then what do you do with all those people?
But what value can they then? Because that's the thing. Unfortunately, our society looks at that like that. What value do they contribute back?
Right. Which would be really nothing.
I know.
Well, I don't know.
Which is an interesting thing.
Seems bleak. I mean, you could be on.
I know,
like in the online ecosystems. I think like you could be considered for your opinion, different skills. Again, we were just talking about people doing things from home for the last year. Like, jobs would be taken away, but different jobs I think would then be created that we just have never seen before as well.
Sure. 100%.
Like
technicians for said robots, number one.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. And just like the overall like
that's true.
Coordination of them.
Sure.
Like how do you dictate like the robots eventually need incentive and reward for the work they're going to do as well, because we're going to get AI to the degree where they understand they're working.
Sure.
So it's like then
these are unfit working conditions for these robots.
So you're going to need like therapy sessions for your robot.
I need my wheels greased 3 times a week at least.
Well, that'd be another thing too. Like, what if we integrate with technology in that way? Right. A lot of people are thinking that that's the future too. That we just integrate with technology, and then there's no difference. No one's worried about not having a job because we're all in it together. In that sense.
Yeah, I mean, there is like a huge assumption that like we need to be having a job because we have this debt to society to provide, which is great because it gets people out of bed and to do shit. We don't want to be like what's it called, Wall-E.
Yeah,
right. Like just sitting in those chairs, floating about, looking at charts and just art.
Sure.
But on like a capital perspective,
again, I do believe we're gonna just see the change in what people do, how we provide to the overall like flame, for lack of a better word.
Well, again, you look at like a small village, right? Like I always look at society as if it's this global village. You know, someone needs to provide certain things. You know, someone needs to provide the food, someone needs to provide the health care, someone needs to provide child care, teaching kids and shit. Like eventually we got to this point where we had people specialize in these certain aspects, and then they became experts and everyone else relied on them, where before it was kind of more spread out to everyone, where everyone was kind of, you know, had their own special skills, but then it was like, oh, Mike's really good at this and like fucking John's really good at that, so they're these people now. They're the only ones that do that. Just go to them if you need any, like he's the baker, he's the fucking whatever, just go to him if you want bread. And then it became this thing, you know, I mentioned it before, but that whole story where, you know, one day all of a sudden the best hunter decided to take all of his food up into a high mountain cave and not let anyone else have it. And it was this weird, who knows where that came from, some type of greed virus, whatever greed is, that made them go to this high mountain cave. And then the people in the village that weren't able to hunt for their own food started dying and all this stuff. And it's just like that today. That even from back then, that same shit going on today, where there's people with a lot, well, there's some people that have, you know, very little. And again, you know, just us talking has got me thinking, like, you know, why do we have to have this value, quote unquote? Why can't we just walk around, look at art, and fucking smell flowers? Like, why isn't that?
Well,
why aren't some people allowed to do that?
That's what I was trying to get at earlier. There's like a capital perspective of things, of how things are constructively built now,
right?
Which unfortunately, like with there's even what's happening with the like factories, man, you're seeing it left, right, and center. People are being unemployed, and they're also like trying to cut down costs. Like I don't know if you've heard about the recent John Deere thing that happened when they cut down their specialists that run most of their equipment that are qualified to run certain big equipment.
Right.
They cut it down and just sent them to regular employees who they thought might just be able to read a manual and run it.
Right.
And within like the first day, they had someone get injured, and then a couple hours later, someone ran a tractor into the shop and stuff like that, and there was just like people, the John Deere workers who did specialize with these vehicles, posting on Twitter saying, "Thank you. How does it look on you guys? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how long will it take for you guys to realize that you need these specialized people? You can't cut our costs. That's why we're paid this amount of money." So, I mean, if we're going to have these robots that are be taking at other people's jobs, realistically, there are going to need to be jobs for people that are going to be like working on these robots and that. But you're taking away how many shifts at a McDonald's for maybe 4 or 5 people that need to work on the robot. Yeah. So if you do that everywhere, there is going to be a large proportion of people that aren't going to be able to work. And like the big question mark is what is going to happen with those people? Sure. Because again, we're also talking about a saturated market that people want to get involved in with other jobs that aren't necessarily jobs. Sure. So then how much room in that field is there going to be, both virtually and here? Right. That is going to allow people income. And who knows what income is going to be back, you know, from now. Like the cost of homes is increasing so much. Right. Like have you ever seen that Black Mirror episode where literally all you do is you just like wake up, you go to this room and like ride this bike thing, and it like racks up points. Oh, racks up coin, and you're in like the spaceship and shit. Yeah. But messed up. That's what that like. Is that what we're gonna have people fucking doing basically? I mean, these people that we quote unquote say are useless, like don't have a job. I hope not, because like we're already like I really fucking hope not. We're already kind of planning to get paid, like with the crypto thing. Like it's kind of coming out right now. I think just like personal interests will be revamped in a way that we can't. But it's just like how we get to the Matrix essentially, where people are literally like, I don't have a job, I don't have like anything, just plug me in. Just harvest my like bio energy, right? Because that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing in the Matrix, right? Maybe, but we also have to remember, like, in parallel, like there's all these things that are being created. But then, what if those things that were created that just became passive allowed you to have more free time to explore your interests, like education, to then go into teaching children, going into doing sports? Maybe we get maybe the Olympics go like nuts, like instead of I don't know how many people get put into like an average Olympics, but maybe it triples, and it's like world stage sports and demonstration and community just goes like soon they'll be paying people for ads to like share their project on crypto and that more art, more like, music, more everything, share their NFT, more individual interest. I mean that's and cool. I don't think that necessarily means like without doing it collectively, because you're going to find like-minded people. You know, why do you buy one? And don't get me wrong, this whole Matrix thing I'm saying, like you're going to be in a virtual world where everything is taken care of. You live in a beautiful existence. You're going to be happy with what you're doing. Why do we look at that as like that's a lesser value too? Like literally, again, obviously, I totally agree with you. Hopefully it becomes that, because I think that's like we talk about like this ascension. We talk about this like ascension in consciousness and stuff, like to the next level. It will slough off some of these things where we're like concerned with like, you know, like again, I almost look at it that the ascension in consciousness, enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, is like a fucking psychedelic trip. And sometimes on a psychedelic trip, you're not really concerned with like, oh, I haven't drank in like 12 hours, I haven't drank any water in 12 hours, I haven't eaten anything in 6 hours. Like you're just like experiencing reality, thinking about all the shit you're thinking about, having a great time. And that's I think what the powers that be, and just a thought that I'm having, is that when we ascend, we have to have something that's going to take care of all that shit, which could be AI. If we get AI to the point that it's taking care of all of our shit, making sure the planet's running, that we're not burning anything down, that we're not killing ourselves doing it, and then we as human beings can now ascend into this realm of pure thought and pure cognition, and just divine, come up with crazy shit. Doctor Strange, for sure. And that's where we'll come up with, and it'll be this shared thing, multiverse, like where fully unlocked. All people as human beings, as one single species, are now going, everything I'm now doing and thinking is feeding into the collective unconscious, which is moving us forward in whatever space that might be. But
you know, then all of a sudden we're having interstellar travel. We're doing all that other stuff where, because we've sloughed off fucking politics, we've sloughed off economy, we've sloughed all this shit. Because again, even crypto and all this stuff we're talking about, it's great, but eventually money and currency itself will become obsolete.
100%.
Right? Where it's like, why do I even need to give you anything?
Right.
We're one and the same.
Right.
I know how to do this. Part of you knows how to do it because I do. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
If we truly know that we're all the same and that there is no physical difference between the three of us, no exchange needs to be done if we do anything for each other. Because we're all just doing it for ourselves. So, you know, you don't pay yourself for fucking doing shit for yourself, right? But that's that mindset that's so far away from the current status.
Yeah.
Right? That if we get
environment
there,
just doesn't allow it. You'll get left behind. Because I think that's
that's the thing.
like,
that's like where I say you go and become a fucking monk. You know, if you really want to. If you really want to live that way, you can.
Just go to Tibet.
But you got to go to Tibet. You got to check out of this society because it just doesn't fly.
I think it is also a dark reality that has to be faced, where it's like, even right now, like, there's jobs we should, like, you know, but there's also a lot of people that like fuck those off and decide not to have them today.
Sure.
And I think, like, as these opportunities show up, whatever they may be, whether they're in the cryptoverse deep on Earth too, or just more free time to explore an interest, like, you're just gonna find people weaving in and out of like their own decisions. And how the population splits from there, who fucking knows? Because I mean, even look at COVID. Like, talk to people right now and ask people, how was COVID for you? You're gonna get a variety of answers. Absolutely. It's just like what people do, your decisions, all that sort of jazz. Like, we're all kind of given.
Yeah, it's the red pill or the blue pill. Not to use another Matrix reference, but some people will choose to take the other pill and stay in the Matrix and stay in their fucking happy life that makes them feel comfortable and makes them feel good. Yeah. You know, and that's a metaphor in the Matrix, but, you know, that's another thing, that it could be a philosophical reality eventually, where some people are like, I'm done with this fucking reality. I want to go check this one out because everything's taking care of me. I could potentially live forever in this virtual space.
For sure.
Right? Like, that's another thing too, where people are like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to do this and just carry on, and maybe I'll forget that it's a game entirely. And then there's people on real Earth or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Well, that's it. Like, when do you cross the line of
savages and shit, like from Brave New World? Like, Brave New World, there was this whole idea, like, the modern city, people are plugged in, people are doing all kinds of wild stuff. There's this whole idea that there are still people that aren't involved in, like, the modern society. So in Brave New World, people are like grown in laboratories. They're not born. They're like, there's different castes of people. So there's like alphas, betas, deltas, I think down to gammas or epsilons. And the lower caste people, literally all they do is like open doors and like work in fucking coal mines and like run fucking elevators. Right. And then the alphas are like normal people who are like just have jobs and like can think for themselves. But through the castes, there's like different physiological things they do to them as they're born that they have to follow.
Reminds me of like Divergent and shit.
Divergent. I think The Island is very similar to that.
The Island.
They're all kind of, but they're all like from this Huxley verse that people have read that Huxley, and kind of taken. Cool. So Aldous Huxley also wrote Doors of Perception, which is a really cool book on peyote. Anyway, in Brave New World, there's this modern city. Again, all the fancy shit, like, you know, you're getting around in tubes. They take this drug called Soma, which is basically just like makes you feel good all the time. No one has like real sex. They're called like feelies, so it's like this virtual sex. So like you put like
tickle toes and shit, or
no, like you put this helmet on, like a neural link helmet, and then you put this on, and then we're like, okay, we're gonna do, and it's like a mental sex. So it's like, and it's like directly connected. Yeah, kinda. It's like directly connected to your pleasure center and stuff. Like serious, right? Seen that. They do it in Demolition Man. You ever seen that movie with Sylvester Stallone? They do a version of that. Anyway, Sylvester Stallone movie called Demolition Man. Really fucking good movie. Pretty corny now, but really whoever wrote it loved Brave New World because one of the characters in it, her name's Lenina Huxley, obviously Aldous Huxley's last name, and Lenina is one of the characters in Brave New World. Played by Sandra Bullock, absolutely rocket in that movie too. And fucking Sly is like peak age, like he's kind of getting older, so he's not like really showing off too much. And Wesley Snipes in it, he's fucking unreal. But yeah, Sandy is looking unbelievable.
Yeah, she's
her and fucking Miss Congeniality, man, I fucking fell in love with her then. Anyway, in this movie, they do basically a version of these thing of the Feelies. They don't call it that. In Brave New World, the sex machine is called the Feelies. Yeah, there it is. Quotes. Look up. One of the things said quotes. So see if we can find the line in the book that actually talks about it. These are all just like images of it. Maybe like actual. Anyway, so obviously in Brave New World, it's a futuristic dystopian. Actually, it's technically utopian novel, but it's dystopian. Yeah. So this is an excerpt from the novel. But that's the price we have to pay for stability. You've got to choose between happiness and what people used to call high art. We sacrifice the high art. We have the feelies and the scent organ instead. So essentially what that's saying is they've given up that idea of art where there's deep thinking, what it represents, all the shit that we kind of talked about tonight for like pleasure. Why do we need to care about art? Why do we need to care about food and the way it tastes and the way that painting makes you feel and the way that music sounds when you can just have sex and like feel good and take your soma and just feel good all the time? Who cares? Mm-hmm. And that's like an interesting take on today's technology, on today's society, because of technology. We're surrounded by pleasure and instant gratification and all this stuff, and it's actually distracting us from like what real life is essentially. Mm-hmm. So in the book, the cities are kind of run like that, but they have like communities out like in the desert basically, and they're people that still like have sex in normal way and have kids in the normal way. And these people look at them like savages, but it's just like what we do
right
now, and they look at us like those people are savages. So again, there will be people that exist even in the future that don't want to have anything to do with this shit. I've never seen Divergent. Is it similar?
Similar, yeah. You have like, again, factions, and each of them, it's kind of like what you were getting to.
Yeah.
Where eventually people are born with like a biological intention.
Yeah.
And across the factions, each of them have a role that's assigned to them based on that. But then you have like, I forget the term they use, but it's like lost ones or some shit like that.
Right.
Basically people that like, you didn't make it. Like you're just a slum. Like you're just running around the world sort of thing together. True. Like
with no purpose.
Outsider type thing. Yeah.
True.
Like you just didn't make it to like having
to being a part of society.
A power and contributing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it's just them like more or less fucking working their way around that. Go see it.
Again, really interesting. When did this come out?
A
few years ago.
A time ago,
A few years, yeah. Like 2014.
2014, not bad.
Yeah.
Like again, I think that idea, like you can really run with that whole idea of like where our future is going. Like just again, what we just thinking about it logically, we realize that there's going to be like a faction of people who just aren't fucking down.
Yeah, for sure.
And are just going to like continue to live their life. Like even till today, there's fucking tribes and there's communities that exist like in the jungle. Sure. Uncontacted tribes.
Yeah.
Like it still exists today.
That shoot arrows when the planes come and stuff.
Right? Yeah. Like, you know, we look down on certain cultures and shit, but there's all different levels of advancement as far as civilization is concerned simultaneously on the planet right now.
Well, that gap's only going to get bigger as time goes on.
Like, but this is the other thing too. So there's a fucking good chance that if a solar flare fucking hits us or like some fucking crazy shit goes down, those tribes are going to be the only motherfuckers that survive.
Exactly, because they know what to do. Yeah.
So eventually we'll just go back to that and then have to start all over again.
How long do you think you would survive? And be honest.
What? Like if...
Solar flare, boom.
I don't know, man.
You
like
have
living in a city,
You have
I feel
everything
like
in your
cities
house
would
and enough
just
time to
burn.
get away. Yeah.
I feel like any city is just gonna burn.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially where,
havoc.
specifically where I live right now. I feel like just people will smash the windows and come in.
Fuck you up.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's
It'd
just gonna be
havoc.
chaos.
Can you imagine? Holy fuck.
People in the country might be able to survive a little bit longer and shit, but not even, man. Because like all of the global, like the economy will be zero. Shut the fuck down. Like there's no electronic shits. Like we're fucked.
Yeah, that shit wouldn't matter.
Satellites are coming down. Like it's gonna be.
It's
It
gonna
would
be
be
fucked.
fucking fucked.
Yeah, maybe rain satellites, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
It would rain satellites.
Like hopefully most of them burn up on re-entry, but like all that shit, like they'll get fried as
Can you
fuck.
imagine? You like just get out of the city. You're like, fuck, thank God.
Yeah.
And like, what if it's like only one side of the planet gets it?
Right.
Like it's that brief of a flare.
Oh yeah.
That like all of a sudden half the planet has it and half the planet doesn't.
Imagine
You're flying over.
Imagine
and
North America died. Just North America.
Right. China
Oh.
comes
China
over
just
real quick.
screams.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
China
would
just-
China and Russia.
They'd
It'd
be
be
on
instant World War
speedboats,
Three.
just
Literally.
Instant. Instant World War Three.
They
China
press a
and
button,
Russia.
It just comes. Press a button.
Just-
they just come out of the ground.
just Eiffel Tower.
We're here.
Fucking
Bro.
just Eiffel Towering fucking North America from both sides.
Putin just smirks. He just
Putin gets fucking the East Coast and and fucking Don Juan gets fucking who's the head of
Yeah.
the Chinese
France is definitely not helping
King
us
Kong.
out if we get fucking.
King Kong. If you hear me before you see me, I got King Kong in the trunk.
Kim Jong Un.
Well, yeah, Kim Jong. Dude, it sounds like fucking North Korea, man, is
think he's
just a
alive?
puppet fucking regime.
Do you think he's alive?
I don't know, man. That dude that
no.
they showed us recently did not look like this fucking guy. Remember, he was like skinny as fuck. They're like, oh, look at all the weight he lost.
You know, he's.
It's a
popped.
different guy.
Yeah, he's popped. Either that or he's hiding or some
He
shit.
just died of COVID.
Yeah.
I think he just died. No, in that gray suit. See it top left. Yeah, they're trying to tell us that that's Kim Jong. Anyway,
But it's crazy, man.
This
because,
motherfucker?
Like, no one can say anything about it.
right,
Yeah, you died.
dude. Like you get fucking stabbed. Did you? Speaking of
died.
Joe Rogan, did you guys listen to that one with that Yao Ming Park?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yao Ming Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking insane. Chick that like.
It's
No,
she
I
like so
gotta
okay
watch it.
so synopsis. It's a long ass podcast.
Yeah.
One of his longer ones, but like when you listen to it, bro, it's fucking.
She went
You're
on
just like
tonight.
JP
It's
and that
just
shit.
one after
Yeah.
another, just fucked up shit. So, you can't really escape North Korea now, but she was able to escape like back in like what early 2000s or sorry early like 2010s. I mean. She's a 93, true. When did it say that she split? So she left North Korea in 2014? No.
2007.
2007. I thought it was around then. So
She-
2007.
She was in South Korea, China, other places, whatever, for parts, and then eventually made way to.
She like walked across the Gobi Desert
Yeah.
like in like minus ass weather, like with no fucking clothes.
There are people that like challenge her story.
I know.
They call some bullshit.
Like,
but
do you think she's like part of it's true and she's kind of hyping up other stuff?
there's so many.
don't know,
there's so
man.
many ideas. Like there's an idea that she's.
Who's
a spy,
saying
that-
though? Is it North
Well,
Korea? Like you know what I mean?
That's the thing too.
Right.
And like again,
Is it some shills? Are they like
some of the
North
stuff
Korean
this girl
shills?
said. Holy fuck.
Because there's a lot of people calling her out again.
Insane story.
Like she basically just says no one touches North Korea because if they do, China will fuck you up.
they were just saying,
Really?
yeah, China will fuck you up. They're connected.
That's the
and
reason.
that-
Like we should be up in
So
there, like
much-
liberating these bitches. Like
Yeah.
we've gone into many other countries
They're not
for a
that
lot
big.
less.
Yeah, they're not that big.
For
either.
a lot less, we've rolled into countries swinging,
Yeah.
and these people are getting starved. Like they don't give them food; they have to like forage for food.
the details of North Korea were fucking insane.
Yeah, like
Where
again,
she was like,
it sounds like Soviet Russia to
I'm
me. The
watching
shit that
this
she was
podcast
saying.
tonight.
when
You
she was saying
I'm
about how
watching
like
this
learning
podcast.
English was weird because there wasn't words
Right.
in Korean or North Korean, I think would be like maybe even more specific,
Mm-hmm.
that like there's no idea even remotely of what love could be to possibly translate the idea, like the word love. You know what I mean? Like if I were to tell you, like learn the English word love, there's
Or be
no
like,
translation or even
John loves
form.
Jane.
There's no
Just
form.
What the fuck does loves mean?
There's
Oh,
no
I see what you're
form
saying.
of love. Yeah.
Right.
Like, what do you mean?
Like,
what
what is
do you mean
love?
she loves him? Like, she has sex
Yeah.
with him?
Right.
Like, that was her probably closest idea.
Crazy.
But in North Korea, not even. Because
Sure,
they didn't
that's
have
fair.
sex.
But I mean, her specifically,
They
because
were
unfortunately
created
she
from
was
the
like
Lord
like a
or
sex
the-
slave and stuff. But yeah,
The
true.
creator of
Kim Jong.
Yeah, the line. Yeah, the family line.
They literally see them as like God kings.
Oh yeah, they see him as a god for
Yeah.
sure.
And like you have to have like pictures of him up in your house.
Shit was like a liberty.
Oh yeah,
Like,
they
people
collect everyone's
collected
poo.
yeah, it's like an emissions
His
thing.
poo.
They collect everyone's poo.
Oh,
all
that's
the
it, because the terrain is so poor.
They have no
they need
fertilizer.
fertilizer.
But they starve these bitches so they don't have enough shit. And then they're sending people off to camps and killing them because they didn't give enough shit that year.
Yeah.
They don't have food to eat.
Yeah,
what the
that-
fuck shit? Where are they gonna make this shit?
Wait,
Yeah.
for real.
Straight-
So
this is-
they take their
it's fucking
poop and they
insane.
try to make they use
make
the poop to
fertilizer.
fertilizer to make
Yeah, to make food
right.
that goes to
right.
the
But
higher
if they're
ups.
not pooping, you can't fertilize.
Yeah.
Correct.
Wow.
So they're killing themselves, like the whole country, like to save these.
As a point,
No, it's just because that's how a dictator. Like this
Yeah.
is just like the
skewed
run out
ideology.
of a dictatorship.
furthest
This is
thing
just like
from-
this is
yeah.
like the ending of a dictatorship. Is that you've just fucked your people to death.
right?
All natural resources are fucked, including the people. And this is where we are today, essentially. So, and like she's saying, China looks down on them because they're kind of like fucking
Fucked.
bitch ass and
Yeah,
doing
it's
crazy
it's
shit.
like the crazy brother.
They're like the little crazy brother kind of thing, 100%. And again, I mean, it's a wild story, so I could see some people challenging it. And like she also, a big part of her story too is that she like moved to New York and went to Columbia University, and it was like at the height of all this woke culture shit, especially like at Columbia.
Right.
And some of the stuff she was seeing is like she's like just simply like some people calling their dog baby, like she didn't understand like like you know when some people are like, this is my dog baby. Yeah, my child, you know. She's like, what? It's a dog. Like, it's funny, I was listening to Tim Dillon.
Yeah.
He's like, it makes much more sense for us to eat a dog than treat it the way we do. Like, it just makes sense that we're gonna kill the dog and eat it and use it as food rather than treat it and feed it and do all this stuff. Just evolutionary wise.
Use your resources.
That's the thing. It's
Think about how
very
think about
taxing. It
people that have
doesn't
gone
make any
broke
sense.
over a dog. Yeah.
Evolutionary,
It's
naturally, bottom line, no emotion. It doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
And this is where she's coming from, because she came from this fucking place that didn't even know what love was. It just has broken out. And again, like I said, it sounds like fucking Soviet Russia to me, like all that shit. That's what that's what they were doing to Russians back in the fucking time for decades. So I don't think it's that far-fetched. Yeah, it's wild, but again, I wonder, some of these people challenging them, are they shills? Are they Chinese shills even, right? Because they could be like, we can't, you know, I don't know.
They're just plotting it out.
I believe her.
I believe her too. Yeah. Again,
Badass
listen
chick.
to the podcast. Everyone listening to this one, go listen to that podcast. She's been on a couple other
crazy.
shows too. But again,
She
a
was
lot
on
of people are like,
Peterson's.
right?
That
Oh,
one
okay,
was good.
that'd be good. Because
Right-
yeah, Joe
right
just kind of was like
questions.
crying the whole time, just like listening to her. Because again, the story's just like so heavy. He didn't
Yeah.
really ask for
Jordan.
like any like.
Yeah, Jordan's the only guy to do that. Though.
Joe
see
just did like the
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Right. That's insane.
Yeah, I know.
that's wow.
Yeah, looking up.
Can you believe wow.
Right.
Whereas Peterson's like, what was it like?
Right.
You had to do this?
That's crazy, man. Have you ever heard Tim Dillon's Joe Rogan impression?
No.
Wow, that's crazy. I don't know, man.
Tim Dillon's fine.
Tim Dillon is
Tim
a
Dillon's
fucking
so
funny
fucking
motherfucker,
hilarious,
man.
bro.
I've been listening to his shit. I love just letting him fucking rant.
Seen Theo's new, we're away from the past topic now. Theo's new special.
No.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Man, I fucking love Theo Von. God
Yeah,
bless Theo
it's
Von.
good.
I've been watching a lot more Theo lately.
I've been
bro. I
off
love
King
him,
and the
man.
Sting, though. I'm off it because I've been
watching
off
King
shop.
and the Sting. Yes,
I'm
I
off
agree,
shop,
bro. I
man.
agree with you. I've been off shop, bro. I'm telling you, man.
You know what? I watched the first fucking episode of King and the Sting, and I was into it, and I'm like, fuck yeah, these guys are great together. I loved Theo Von and Schaub, and I loved Schaub on the King and the Sting. I thought it was a decent relationship between him and Brian Callen, but I think it got away from him. I think he's really uber famous because he works hard, and he's got a lot of money now because of all the businesses he got himself involved with. Mm-hmm. I think in his mind, I don't think in his mind he's past Brian Callen, but I think he fell for that shtick of them making fun of Callen. Because like Will Sasso would come on and make fun of him, Chris D'Elia would come on and make fun. And again, we've talked about this before. Brian Callen is a fucking good sport. He's a good sport.
No one could take that.
He's an actor. He's an improv guy, and he's just a good sport. If you're his buddy, you could probably say anything, and he's going to go along with it because that's just is funny. That is funny in itself. A person to go along with the shit that you're saying. It makes the whole situation funnier. Especially, there's this great podcast I listened to called the 10-Minute Podcast, which was Brian Callen, Will Sasso, and Chris D'Elia. Fucking hilarious, these guys, bro. Because they're all trained actors and all the shit. But Schaub not being a trained actor, being a fucking fighter with CTE, and he openly admits that that's what made him funny. I think he just truly bought into, like, I'm going to make fun of Callen. Like, Callen is a bitch boy, and you can just tell he's fucking fed up with him. And, like, you know, we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
And, like, anytime Callen is talking, you can just see Schaub fucking get pissed, and he interrupts everybody. And again, I think just Schaub has just gotten super huge, and I'm just not so big on him anymore. Yeah. So, unfortunately, it's kind of taking me away from
He just became very,
like,
influencer. That's like
and all this drip and like everything is all about like
he's trying to be in with everything,
which he is. Like, it's true, like mainstream,
absolutely making money as well.
Historically, I've never really been a big mainstream guy.
Yeah,
like once something's like really mainstream, it just makes me want to go away from.
Or I'm just late as fuck.
That too, but honestly, like even like movies and shit, if I hear like everyone loves it, or like, it's got all these great, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna like that. Like, it's just immediately I just start to like my signals go up to be like, is this fucking good? Or is this just manufactured to be
right now?
And for the masses.
You
know what I mean? Unfortunately, again, you know, it's the hardest part even when we were making songs and stuff, because you kind of try to anticipate like what people will like,
right?
Again, because there is a continuum, right? You know, you're gonna know there's only certain people who like crazy screamo death metal, and there's only certain people that like really folky fucking violin-y shit. Somewhere in the middle resides, you know, it's all a fucking big bell curve. It's all fucking you know, a standard distribution. That middle ground though tends to be, you know, Taylor Swift-ish and dance-ish, you know, pop, whatever pop is in the middle. This is the big chunk of that curve. And a lot of that stuff is really formulaic. Like I even talked about this podcast's theme song is based off a chord structure that is like pleasing to the ear, because we've had so much music up until this point. People have figured out that there's certain chord progressions that just sound good.
They're catchy.
And this is since fucking classical music, you know, but you know, and up until today, every genre has just been like a reworking of that kind of thing in Western music, because all Western music is based off of 7 fucking notes. That's it. That's it. All the music we listen to. There's like Indian music and stuff, and like some East Asian music that is based off different tone, but again, in fucking Western music, it's based off seven notes. So there can only be so much music made. So all these genres are kind of just different ways of approaching that, right? So anyway, you can kind of guess what people like, but again, it's up to, like we talked about before, you know, people are the ones that set the price of art. You know, it's the artist can do whatever they want, but you never know what's really going to catch on next. It's people who then who decide what it is. Again, with these punk boys,
crypto punks,
who knew the fuck that would be it? But it's it, right? And that's art. Is that sometimes you don't know what the fuck it's gonna be.
Right.
Like that's modern art anyway. Yeah, there's art that we can look back retroactively and be like, yeah, that was good. But there's probably some shit contemporarily to like, you know, Vermeer and fucking all those great master artists that was shit. But those specific ones shone, and they still remain to this day the most important pieces. But popular art, contemporary shit, cutting edge shit is always determined by the people. And again, you can kind of anticipate what the masses are going to like, but you never really know. Yeah, even like boy band shit, like that's all fucking completely from point A to point B produced, and someone has put every piece together and decided everyone's name and shit and what they look like. Sometimes that's not it. Or it was it for a bit and then it wasn't. And then it comes back in different forms. Right. You look generationally, right? You go, even back in like, back before, you know, all those like crooner kind of type singers and fucking, you know, like the Rat Pack and stuff, I guess you could look at it as like a boy band essentially, but they are all just like talented musicians that they put together. And then all of a sudden the music industry goes, oh, look, if we put these people together, we can make all this money. And then they started picking the right people, the writers, the people who are actually writing the song. And they're like, fuck it. Why do we even have to have musicians play this shit? Let's just get 5 dudes to fucking dance and like look good, and we'll do all the rest. And then the fucking New Kids on the Block start coming out, and fucking Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and fucking, you know, now like BTS and fucking One Direction, Jonas Brothers before them, and then, you know, till today, right? So it's like, that's shit where clearly you can tell the people at work are trying to please the masses. And that's the shit that I don't like. Right. Is when you can tell that they're just trying to make everyone like it, and because they know what people like and they're just playing to those likes, and everyone else is just fucking eating it up. Because they don't care. They like it and they're having pleasure, and God bless them. Yeah. But just as soon as I smell that, I'm like, fuck. It becomes like, fuck out. You. Yeah. I can't be manipulated. Like, I know you wanted to make me enjoy this, which is funny. Yeah. Why am I railing against that? But again, it's like, it just seems like pedestrian, I guess, at the end of the day, sometimes with some mainstream shit, you know, but it's art. It's all fucking art.
Well, yeah, it goes back to art and music.
Like elevator fucking music is music.
Some people love it.
Yeah. Who cares? Like, really, right? If it's good, it's good. If it makes you feel something.
If it keeps you on the phone.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Right? That's another thing, too, right? Is that sometimes it's exploitive. And you can tell that they're just product placements and fucking this and that and merchandise from the shits, like movies specifically. And you're like, what the flying fuck are we dealing with here? You know, what is this? This is just a big fucking cash grab. Again, I'm big in these fucking Marvel movies. I love them. But Christ, man, the amount of money that they're pulling in from this shit.
Huge.
Disney. Yeah.
Why do you think they keep doing it?
Disney, bro. The amount of money that Disney alone rakes in on entertainment. Again, you know, we want to be entertained. We want to enjoy ourselves. We want to have fun. But my God, they have that shit down. $2.8 billion Marvel Comics budgets and box office. Is that how much money they've made? 2.8 bill? Yeah. So
8 times its budget.
8 times its budget. Made some muns. Wow. It's funny though, $2.8 billion doesn't even seem like that much.
Not really.
Which is stupid. It's a lot of fucking money, but this is the world we live in.
For one movie.
Sorry, that was one movie?
That was Endgame.
Oh, that was just Endgame.
That was just one movie.
Oh, sorry. I read that as all Marvel movies. Oh my God, that's crazy then. So that's its highest. That's the highest grossing one then, is Endgame.
That makes so much more sense.
So the highest grossing Marvel movie is one of them, $2.8 billion.
That makes sense.
One of them. Let alone, like, who knows what even Iron Man has made up to this point, because it's been out since 2008. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can look at it like that. Like, this shit's just been continuously making money. Talk about passive fucking income.
Exactly. Just keep being played.
Just be Robert Downey Jr. Dude. So, right? Like, again, you know, I like this shit. but it is mainstream as fuck. So there are some shit that I do like. It's not always the same, you know, it's not always just because it's mainstream, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it's still art again. There's no difference.
Just interest, and yours are
the
deeper.
painting in a hotel might be in a fucking hotel, but hey,
there's definitely a deep
someone still did
audience
it.
for sure, and a large enough one for them to be making 2.6 billion off of it.
Yeah.
And not
There's
everyone's
people out
supposed to
there
like
that,
everything.
that like it. Exactly.
Some people don't need the meaning to like it either.
Sure.
But
You know
that's
what I
the thing.
mean?
You
Some
talk
people are
about
really meaning led.
Again, I guess
like,
that's been
it looks good, it sounds good, fuck it. Let's
Right.
on to the next. I got better things to do.
Yeah, whatever blows
And that's
Don't
why
think about
pop
it deep.
music works.
Yeah, doesn't have
You
to
can
get
bob
deep.
your head
You don't
on the
have to
radio.
you don't have to
Yeah.
On the way to
analyze it.
work.
You know,
If you get a little rush throughout the movie, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
you don't have to wonder. You don't have to wonder what the lyrics to wet ass pussy mean.
Right.
You just hear them. They make you feel away, and you go on. You don't have to analyze. It's not like Stairway to Heaven.
Right.
If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, don't be alarmed now. It's just a spring clean for the May Queen. That's a lyric from that movie or from that song. What the fuck does that mean? Who knows?
It doesn't matter.
But there's some WAP shit going on.
Right.
That's just going to be fucking, you know, you don't have to think twice about it. It's got a cool beat, makes you dance. You know, 120 beats per minute is
Right.
pretty good.
It goes
you know,
viral.
there's shit like that, you know, certain keys of certain songs, certain chords. It's just like, look at Ed Sheeran. He's got that fucking formula down pat. Cool beat, cool chord change, little fucking voice, you know, we're already vibing
Formula.
immediately. You just can just think about it in your head. And he just does it. Like, that's the thing, is that fuck most of the shit in this world, the only thing holding you back is just fucking doing it. Right? Anyone listening, if you're fucking got something in the hopper that you're not doing because you just feel like you can't, try it. Because you might be
The next Ed Sheeran.
right. You know, you might go, oh, this is silly, or this
Or
is
Clink
simple,
Face.
Yeah.
right? Or this is dumb, or this is just I'm cheating. You know, I talk about one in podcasts. I talk about that Tim's Vermeer. I talk about that Vermeer process
Yeah, that's
where
insane.
I've been doing it. I've
Yeah, have
been
you?
painting with
Still?
that
Yeah,
process, and I feel like I'm cheating,
Right.
but I'm still fucking painting. It was a blank canvas. By the time I'm done, it's going to have something on it. So like, why, you know, why do we call it cheating? You know, if I know what chords work, if I know the certain things, again, it's just people put more value into like, oh, it's spontaneously created. Like, but even still, like even artists that are going to create like a realistic painting, they draw there's like a sketch underneath, and they use math to like segment the canvas. How is that different from, you know, certain processes where you're basically just copying reality?
Right.
It's the same fucking shit. It's just two different ways about it. It's almost like arguments about religion. It's the same fucking outcome. Why are we arguing how we got there? Right. I used to have all these
The same
arguments with
principle,
with my bandmates a lot, right? Where some of them were really being like, that note doesn't fit in the scale. And I'm like, does it sound good? Then who gives a fuck? If it sounds good, who cares if it's not in said scale? Right? The shit sounds good. Let's fucking go with it. Most people aren't going to give a fuck, and they're not going to know anyway. So like, just do it. It sounds good to us. Someone else is going to enjoy it. But then there's other people who are like, nope, the song is in this key. You have to play these notes. And it will sound good too. It will sound good, but it's going to sound like a lot of other shit probably, because it's following the rules.
Right.
And the big thing with art, that certain avenues of art, I should say, whether it's visual or music or poetry, are breaking those boundaries. You know, coming up with new fucking ideas that, again, are new because they're breaking those rules. And I think, yeah, you can follow those rules, you can do everything, and you can produce something that a lot of people are going to like. But those rare occurrences that everyone likes it, I think that's when you start to break the rules too. You know, Jack's got some Jean-Michel Basquiat stuff up there, you know, breaking rules, changing, you know, using colors that people maybe aren't used to, using techniques that people weren't used to, and it became huge. and it became a reflection of the society and what people had to say at that moment. And again, you never know today what that could be. If it's an NFT, if it's whatever, no one can anticipate what that's going to be. Again, you look at Andy Warhol too, a precursor to some of Basquiat's stuff, where he was taking mass-produced art and recreating it and showing you the difference in, you know, that art, that because things reproducing them with different colors and different techniques, and maybe the screen is shifted a little bit, creates a unique piece of art, even though it is mass-produced, and that anyone can do that. Like the guy operating the machine at the factory to print the label,
the Campbell's,
is an artist too.
Right.
It's just, we have this weird hang up in art society where we want the artist to spontaneously come up with the art, right? We don't want it to be this made in a jig or something. We want it to be, you know, we look at Salvador Dali stuff, you know, we want it to come from inside their mind and come right to that page. We don't want anything in between that, even though there will always be something in between the mind and the canvas. You still have to, whether it's your hand or the paintbrush you're holding, what's the difference between that and a giant screen printing rig? Or what's the difference between me using a chord progression that really works? Again, it can be looked as mass production, but that doesn't mean it's any less art. But yeah.
Insane.
I think that's a perfect place to stop.
I think that's a good place to end.
Yeah. Again, you know, go out there, create, because you never know what's going to be the next big thing.
You never know who's waiting.
You never know. And
yeah.
Again, you can keep plugging away, and you can don't ever try and create something that you think everyone else is going to like. Try and create something that you like, and other people will come to it. You know, it's like they say in Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. Don't wait till people to come to build it, right? That's what we're saying today. Thank you for listening, everybody. Again, you know, you can support the podcast at our Patreon, patreon.com/thebigmarkpod. Rate, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that great stuff. Check us out on Instagram, the Big Mark Pod. Check out Christian Aubin. Where are you at?
Instagram, my man, Christian Aubin.
Jack, where are we checking you out? Where can see your art?
Instagram by Jack Williams. Come buy art.
Go buy some art. Go buy some
crypto, baby.
Buy some crypto. Buy some NFTs.
NFTs.
That's it. We're gonna go to the moon, baby. All right. Thanks for listening. Love ya. Talk to you soon. Peace.